Hi beautiful souls, welcome to my channel Elle's Temple. My name is Elle, I'm a goddess, guide and intuitive tarot reader, and today I am so excited to be bringing you a reading all about what are your spiritual gifts or talents, or what are your unique spiritual gifts or talents. So for today's reading we have the amazing and powerful goddess Isis, who is the Egyptian goddess of rebirth, and she is a goddess who can help you activate any of those soul gifts that you were born to use in this lifetime. And she's also a goddess that can help you do that like soul retrieval work. So particularly for those of you that may have gone through any kind of traumas, or especially anything in past lives, or any kind of wounding or anything like that, as many of us have. Most people on the planet, we don't come out of here unscathed. So, at some point, many of us have gone through some kind of wounding. And she is a goddess who can help you alchemize that, and she can help you tap into essentially your innate healing powers so that you can heal those wounds from the past, heal those wounds in your soul, and then find your own unique process of alchemy so that you can step into your gifts more powerfully and then use them in the world in the way that you were born to do, essentially. So for some of you, you may be aware of some of these gifts. These may be something you already know you have, and maybe for some of you, you've even started working with them a little bit, and so you can certainly use this reading just as a confirmation and just to perhaps receive some beautiful guidance from Goddess Isis on how to empower you to step into really using those gifts more fully, or shining your light in the world with whatever your spiritual gifts are. For others of you, you may not be as aware of what these are. It may be that there's aspects that might be a little bit buried still in your psyche or in your soul in some way, and that's why working with Isis can help you do that retrieval. It can help you do that deeper excavatory work where you can access those gifts that might have been repressed because of various things through your childhood, or through this lifetime, or because of past life traumas even as well. So she can kind of help you re-remember and help you rebirth into the powerful spiritual healer or teacher or mentor or guide, or whatever it is that you feel drawn towards doing. You might have this sort of deepest sense of some kind of calling. You might have a deeper sense that you have some kind of gift that you want to use, but maybe just not necessarily know exactly, or necessarily feel empowered to be able to step into that. Or maybe you might be just in an environment where you're around other people who they haven't fully awakened, or they don't necessarily exhibit or have any kind of spiritual gifts, so it might feel a bit like you might feel a bit unsupported to kind of come out into the world and be like, hey, I've got these unique gifts, and I'm going to use them now. So you can use this as a safe space just to kind of explore. Only take what resonates. Your soul will resonate with certain aspects. So obviously this is a general reading, but in each pile there might be certain facets, there might be certain parts that might sort of perhaps just awaken something in you, awaken a memory, awaken a sense of recognition within your soul. So without further ado, we have 3 different piles here for you to choose from today. So if you are drawn to the High Priestess card from the Crystal Magic deck, you will be pile number 1. Okay, if you are drawn to the High Priestess card from the Wild Unknown Tarot, you will be pile number 2. And if you are drawn to the High Priestess from the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, then you will be pile number 3. Okay, now for those of you who prefer to choose with crystals, give me a moment, I'll be right back with those. Okay, so if you are drawn to the Peach Moonstone, you will be pile number 1. Love the energy of this Peach Moonstone. It's so kind of soft and feminine. It's gorgeous. And if you are drawn to this powerful black numite egg, you will be pile number 2. Hopefully the camera is picking up the little kind of inflections of brown on here. I'm not sure if it is, but hopefully you can feel the power that's coming from this particular crystal for those of you that are quite drawn to crystal energy. And if I can get him to, or her to stay, there we go. And then we've got the Krinzite, beautiful Krinzite point or tower for pile number 3. So Okay, so take a moment to tune in to the energy of the 3 piles, to tune into either the crystals or the cards. Pause the video if you need a little bit more time to choose which pile is drawing you in. I just wanted to make a really quick announcement in case those of you who might be interested, but you may not have seen it on my community tab, that I have opened, or I've started a Patreon membership. I'm so excited about it. So it's only been going a few weeks, so I don't have a huge amount of content up there yet, but there will be in the coming weeks. I have been uploading according to what I set the intention for. There's 3 different membership tiers, and basically the Patreon is going to have a lot of exclusive content for essentially goddess readings and other goddess content for each of the 3 different tiers. So check out the membership. I'll leave the link below. And I just wanted to say this reading is an example of the type of reading that I will be doing on Patreon. So this will be quite a super in-depth reading. I'll be doing sort of like activation processes at the end of each reading. We'll go really in depth into all the cards. It's not to say that none of my other readings on YouTube are going to be in depth. It's just that this is the type of reading that is going to be common over on my Patreon membership, or more common on my Patreon membership. So you can gain access to bonus exclusive content that is not on YouTube or anywhere else. It will just be over on Patreon. And if you like the sort of style of this reading, and you like receiving the kind of really in-depth spiritual messages and the guidance from the goddesses, then check that out. Okay, my loves, I will see you in your piles. Whoops. Hi there, pile number 1. Sorry, I just knocked your stone over in enthusiasm and gung-ho-ness. So yes, if you chose the Peach Moonstone or this High Priestess card from the Crystal Magick Oracle, Crystal Magick Tarot, gosh, that's a good start. I'm already fluffing my words. It's really hot here where I am in the UK at the moment. Not that there's any excuse. I know some of you guys are in countries that are far hotter, but we're not used to it in the UK, so you'll have to cut me some slack. I'm used to rainy, grey weather, so when it is a bit of a heat wave here, I think all of us start to kind of malfunction because we're not used to it. Anyway, let's get into it and let's hope the rest of it is a bit smoother. So pile number 1, straight off the bat, the energy that I get from you is a very beautiful, maternal, feminine, receptive, caring energy. I feel like many of you might be water signs, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or you might have a water sign energy really strong in your chart, or just that very, like, I'm just picking up very Cancer energy, very like I'm just kind of seeing with this flowy blue, like this very serene, watery, maternal, Cancer, like sort of nurturer, motherly type energy, straight off the bat from your pile. Also with these kind of lotus flowers here, I'm seeing just this sort of energy of like you've done the work to grow through some really terrible things, and you are just this beautiful lotus flower that just sits serene on the top of the water, and it is just in there in all your beautiful glory, just there for everyone to admire. And I don't mean that in a sort of like aesthetic sense. I just mean, and you could well be very beautiful, physically speaking. I feel like you are, but this is more like a sort of spiritual beauty or an inner beauty. I feel like you have a lot of inner beauty that shines out of you. So that's kind of just what's coming straight through off the bat. Yeah, there's a lot of green energy behind this card, sort of there's these aqua colors here, but then a lot of green behind, which is connected with the heart chakra, which is all about love and unconditional love. So I feel like you have a lot of love to give. One of your unique gifts is giving and sharing unconditional love with others. And I feel like this is a process that it's unique to you, because this is something you've had to learn how to do, because I don't feel that you necessarily got that unconditional love from childhood. It wasn't necessarily modeled to you. Maybe for some of you it was, but I feel like for many of you this was something where you had to uncover this, like I mentioned in the introduction. This was something you had to sort of excavate in order to rebirth yourself. You had to really dig deep and heal those wounds, heal those things that were missing from your life. Find those fragments that were missing, as I spoke about with the soul retrieval. You had to find that unconditional love within, and then now you just kind of radiate that out. I just feel this very, very like strong energy coming from your heart chakra. So very very nurturing, very caring, very loving energy. So really beautiful energy, pile number 1. Let's get into your oracle cards, and then I'll come back to the tarot afterwards. So let's put your crystal over here. Okay, so we've got a lot of cards, so I'm hoping I can fit them all in. We've got the Orphan as the archetype card. We've got Aquamarine and White Lily, Go with the Flow, Divine Mother, Shekinah Flow, and Detach. Beautiful. This is very similar kind of watery aqua energy to the energy on this card. I love that. In fact, I'm going to put that one. I'm going to have to move you over, Isis. Put the High Priestess there. Put that one. They've got to go next to each other because they look pretty. We've got the Green Man, Nature, Connection, and Source. We've got Lady of the Lake. Right. This is going to have to go over here. Lady of the Lake. We've got Magic and Ritual with Crafting Sacred Practice, which I'm going to come back to at the end because I'm going to read out the all of the guidance from the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild, and there's a little sacred ritual which I'll read out and hold up to the camera for those of you that feel called to do that ritual in your own time, which I would highly recommend because they are very powerful. Okay, we've got Mama, card number 23 with I am calm, I am ready. I love that. And apologies if you can hear some traffic noise. I'm having to keep the window open because where I am in the UK, we don't have air conditioning and it's just really hot. Or not where I am, we don't have air conditioning, but in the house that I'm in, we don't have air conditioning. So yeah, it's very, very hot here. So I need some fresh air. Well, it's not really fresh, it's just really muggy actually. But anyway, there you go. And we've got Gaia, card number 40 with Shine On. And the Wild Rose with Do It Your Way, Embrace Your Uniqueness, and Untamed. Okay, so let me pause and put these so you can see all of them, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, there we go. Pile number 1. Hopefully you can see all your cards okay now. Okay, so pile number 1. Right off the bat, the energy that I get kind of echoes what I was saying with your selection card, which was that you have this beautiful, caring, nurturing, maternal, feminine energy. And we've even got Mama with I am calm, I am ready, and the Orphan. So I feel like with this Orphan archetype card here, this was something that you've had to learn. You've had to learn to reparent yourself. You've had to learn to like go back and like reclaim or rediscover your inner child. I feel like this is the group that's done a lot of inner child work, and this may even be something that is one of your gifts that you are meant to do in this lifetime. You are meant to help other people do that work of retrieving, of excavating, of reclaiming, of refinding, rediscovering their inner child, because you are like this sort of great wonderful mama energy for other people's children or inner children as well, because I feel like this isn't something with the Orphan here, this isn't something that you didn't have some sort of nurturing, protective, unconditionally loving support when you were a child, or even if you did, there was still just something that was somewhat lacking, or wasn't the type of support that you needed. Like maybe your parents, they did the best they could with what they had and everything like that, and to an outsider it might have still looked very like a loving family and everything, but you somehow felt like something was lacking. Or it's that energy of being like sort of the black sheep or the orphan, the outsider, someone who doesn't belong, someone who doesn't fit in. So maybe some of you were orphans, so maybe some of you were adopted literally, or just more like you felt like a spiritual orphan within your own family. Like you felt like you didn't really come from that family in some sense. Maybe some of you might identify with being like a starseed, or from like another system, like another like one of the starseed, like Andromedan or Lyran or whatever, if that resonates. But it's just this energy of like there was something that you were trying to get when you were a child, or you were trying to get in through your life you were trying to get certain needs met, is what I'm getting. And I feel like that was for a sort of emotional and spiritual nurturance and support, and you didn't really receive that. Maybe you got a kind of more practical support, or you got more like intellectual support, or whatever it might be, or even like, you know, say financial or material support. But it's kind of like the energy I'm getting is like either you were somewhat abandoned, possibly even physically, but kind of more so spiritually or emotionally. There was some sort of sense of like abandonment. And then part of your soul retrieval process that you've been going through is learning how to reparent yourself and remother yourself or re-nurture yourself. Not to say it's just a mother wound. This could be both mother and father wound, or just a father wound. But there was just a sense of being sort of spiritually orphaned. If that aspect doesn't resonate, it could just mean more that you identify strongly with being something like a starseed, or from not from the earth in some way. So you've always felt a bit like your soul, like even if you got the sort of love that you wanted from your immediate family, you've somehow felt orphaned by the universe, in the sense that you felt alone here on earth, or you felt abandoned here on earth, or something like that. There's something around being sort of orphaned and not getting the support, not getting the feminine support, the maternal support, the nurturing, especially emotional nurturing is what I'm picking up really strongly with, like I said, with the Cancer energy, with this High Priestess card, and then also with this Aquamarine and White Lily, we've actually got Divine Mother there. So it's almost like a feeling of being abandoned by the Divine Mother. So maybe also what I'm picking up is some of you might have grown up in an environment where there was a lot of like patriarchal energy, or you belonged to a church that was very patriarchal, and so there was this sense of the divine only being masculine, and there just wasn't any connection with any kind of divine feminine or divine mother, or having the kind of mothering and nurturance that you needed, or having the kind of emotional and spiritual support system that you needed. And that is something that I feel like for many of you, you'll be at different stages of this, but you've been working through healing that wound, and you've been working through reparenting yourself and rediscovering your inner child, and reconnecting with this. Like this Lady of the Lake card talks about connecting with the divine feminine, connecting with the goddess, connecting with the goddess traditions. You know, the Lady of the Lake talks about the whole, you know, Glastonbury, when it was Avalon, and then it kind of got, you know, when all the patriarchal takeover happened, it got, you know, sort of wiped out, and then all those rituals, all that connection with the goddess, all that beautiful connection with the Lady of the Lake, as she was known in that tradition, got sort of wiped out. And so I feel like for you, there's this deep part of you that really wants to connect with that divine mother. That part of your spiritual gifts is to reconnect with the divine feminine and be like an embodiment, like this mama card. She's very embodied in this, like, you know, she's even pictured pregnant, you know, embodying that divine feminine, receptive, nurturing, maternal energy that can care and nurture for both yourself, and once you're feeling called to, and once you feel strong enough to. And like I said, some of you might be already doing this, others of you might be still in the process of kind of excavating this part, or practicing connecting with your inner child, or this may all be quite new to you. You'll all be at different stages, but I feel like you have this calling. There's some sort of calling around sort of using that mothering, that maternal, that feminine energy to heal the like spiritual orphans of the world, is what I'm hearing. So very big mission. Also for some of you, this could be literal, like as in you are meant to you know, be some sort of like literally be a parent. Part of one of your skills, or what one of your skills is probably not the right word. I mean, you could call it skills, but one of your talents, or you know, is to use this maternal energy to actually birth a family, like you know, conceive and have human children, if that's something you feel called to do. Certainly it may be that you're feeling called to adopt other children who are orphaned themselves, or even to you know, I'm seeing someone sort of doing, you know, going to countries where there's a lot of issues with orphans being abandoned and things like that, and doing, you know, perhaps working with a charity, or starting a charity, or even just doing a little bit of work yourself where you're helping support these orphans who have literally been orphaned in their country. They actually have no parents, and they maybe have no support system at all. They're completely abandoned. There's no state support or anything like that for them. And I see you doing, like, I'm sort of seeing someone like maybe setting up a school, or setting up some kind of charity, or just doing something that is giving that like maternal healing energy to those children, in perhaps in other parts of the world, or even within your own country. So if you've been feeling called to adopt or something like that, or feeling called to work with children in other parts of the world, that may very well be something that it is an actual literal, literally connecting with that caring, that divine feminine energy, and being an embodiment of it, and someone who's going to bring that care energy out and be a representative of that in a way in the world. For others of you, I feel like this could be more so because with this Gaia card, this talks about like she's got this nest with these eggs, and it's kind of like nurturing those creative ideas and those creative projects. So this could be being able to birth creative ideas or different creative projects out in the world, or something like that, like kind of because with the shine on, I'm just kind of getting this energy of, do your thing, like shine your light, like put your work out in the world, like put your creations out in the world. And we've got with Wild Rose, do it your way, embrace your uniqueness untamed. So yeah, there's this energy of like, not crushing those aspects of you that want to be expressed, especially if there's a part of your inner child that wants to express itself through some form of art, whether it's painting, whether it's any kind of like multimedia, or singing, or whatever it might be. It's like there's something around like not taming yourself anymore, not keeping that suppressed, like unlocking those gifts, unlocking that creativity, and then nurturing it, the way she's, this is Gaia energy, this is like Mother Earth energy, so it's that energy that you can plant a seed in the soil, and Gaia will hold that seed and nurture it, and care for it until it grows and grows. So it's kind of the energy of whatever it is that you're going to be looking after, whether it's a human child, whether it's other people's inner children, whether it's creative projects, whether it's parenting your own children, whatever it might be, whether it's teaching, whether it's care work, whatever. It's like you are someone who has that energy where you're like this support system, this nurturing system where you can hold. It's like, yeah, you can hold space, or you can hold that sort of earthy energy where anything can be kind of nurtured within that space. It's like you're a human, like it's kind of like if you think of when you go into sort of healing circles or things like that, and there's like you have to sort of create the space and hold the space and have this like healing space. You're like the human version, you're the human embodiment of holding sacred space, or holding healing space, or nurturing space, or space where people can grow. It's like you have that, just that is just naturally part of you. That's part of your unique gifts. And I feel like for some of you, this might be something that you don't necessarily even really see in yourself, because it comes so naturally to you that you don't see it as a unique gift or a unique talent or something that you can really use, especially because in Western society, I don't know where you are in the world, but if you have grown up in any kind of Western conditioning, which has infiltrated a lot of other societies and cultures as well, but if you've grown up in that culture in particular, it tends to be dominated by very masculine and very masculine modes, and that sort of appreciates and values and puts on a pedestal more achievement oriented type success, or like things done sort of leaders in the business world, or things that are more related to business and finance and all that kind of thing. And it's not to demean any of that, there is a place for all of that, of course, but what we're talking about here is that these gifts that are very feminine and very maternal and very very nurturing and caring, they are often the things that are the most I'm hearing denigrated, but that's not quite the right word. It's like not valued. Great English there. They're the most like they're not terribly valued in Western society. They, you know, a lot of those type of, you know, if you think of care workers and things like that, they're often not paid terribly well and things like that. It's work that often goes very unappreciated and is often very undervalued. And so these sort of natural care talents that you have, this ability to kind of nurture people, or this ability to connect with people's inner children and nurture them, you know, unless you've gone into, say, formalizing that in some way, like becoming, say, a child psychologist, or you know, something along those lines that sort of fits in that kind of system, and, you know, requires a certain amount of education and requires a certain amount of certification and so on and so forth. Unless you've gone down that path, which some of you may well have, this might be a facet of you that you just don't really see as a particular talent or skill. It might just be so almost like invisible to you. It's just like part of you that you just care for things, and you care for people, and you care for yourself, and you can care for others, and it's just like you're almost blind to it, is kind of what I'm saying. It's like you can't even see that it's a really beautiful thing, and that you are this embodiment of divine feminine energy. You are this embodiment of Shekinah energy, which is the feminine face of God. It is as in the goddess. You are an embodiment of the goddess energy. That, whoa, I'm getting chills. Powerful energy, very powerful, like divine mothering energy. And there absolutely is a call for this on the earth at this time. The goddess is arising, hence why there's so many more goddess things now. Look at how many goddess decks have come out in the last few years. For those of you that are, you know, kind of, if you're like me and you're watching all this kind of stuff on YouTube, all these decks and things coming out, you know, there's so much, there's an explosion of it, you know, and books and things like that, you know, because there's a yearning for it, because we need to rebalance all of that, like masculine energy, you know, that energy of, you know, doing and productivity and output and success and certain things like that. And again, it's not to say let's just erode all of that. It's just to say that has been, you know, the story of, you know, the last however many thousand of years. And it's like, we need a balance now. We need this feminine energy back. We need this Shekinah energy back. We need this divine mother energy back. We need maternal nurturing energy back. And we need to value it just as much as we do these masculine aspects. And so I feel like this is part of your journey, is like really noticing that in yourself, or acknowledging that in yourself, your ability to nurture and to help create this beautiful holding space, this beautiful like earth space for people to grow, whether it's, like I said, actual children of your own, children you're looking after, children you're teaching, children in other parts of the world, people's inner children, whatever it might be. You are there to help them grow. We need your maternal energy. This is coming through really strong from your guides. We need your caring energy. So it's really important that you step into your power with this, essentially, and use it in some way. With this wild rose, embrace your uniqueness, I feel like there's something that you're wanting to create or birth or ground with this kind of green man in nature. I feel like, yeah, I'm getting a very like grounded energy from you. So I feel like you may be someone who likes spending a lot of time in nature. Nature could be very healing for you. It could be very restorative for you, for especially if you are in a care profession, or you do spend a lot of your energy kind of serving others or nurturing others. Nature is sort of then in turn there to nurture you as well. But also it's kind of this same with this Gaia energy, nature connection source, and Gaia with the, you know, holding this bird's nest with the little eggs in it. It's like you are this person who, I feel like not only are you someone who can hold space for and help grow for other people, help them grow, but there's certain dreams or certain creative projects or certain unique things that you're meant to birth, like with these kind of eggs being symbolic of, like, you know, new beginnings, new births, new creations. It's like you have this, it's like a creative womb space where you can kind of grow certain projects that you're meant to bring out in the world. And we might get into a bit more detail with the tarot about what that is. And I feel like with this crafting sacred practice, this will help you to birth those creations that you're meant to bring out, whatever they might be. And I feel like it's kind of something related to something your inner child wants to do, and that your inner child will kind of guide this, or like once you're really deeply connected with your inner child and you kind of untame that part of yourself, it will just blossom. Like it will know what to do, and then all you have to do is stand back and be that like holding space, that earth space where your inner child can then grow whatever projects you're feeling called to. And it's key for you to start some kind of sacred practice where you carve out time to allow that, like carve out time and space to allow that creativity, or allow that energy to birth through you. Because with that mama energy, it's like I'm just kind of seeing someone pregnant, but not necessarily with a physical child, though some of you may be, but I feel like it's more like there's a project, or there's a, you know, and this could be anything from a piece of art to like a book to a business you want to start. Maybe some of you want to start some kind of creative business where you work with unblocking people's inner children or something like that. Or some sort of spiritual business where you're giving that kind of emotional support, or doing some sort of emotional healing, or I'm hearing like transpersonal psychology. So some of you might be doing transpersonal psychology. I don't know what that is, so hopefully someone knows. Comment below if you know. Sorry, I didn't do psych at university. I did sociology and gender studies and classical studies. And anyway, I digress. I completely digress. Sorry, this is not about me at all. This is about you, I promise. Just gone a complete tangent. What was I talking about? So yeah. Let's go into your tarot. I feel like I've kind of milked everything. Funny that I used that analogy. I don't normally use that analogy, but I think we're talking about mothers. So I'm gonna come back to this card at the end and read the bit from the book. So for those of you that like the Alana Fairchild books and the activation processes or the rituals, then stick around for that. Okay, so let's get into the tarot. I want to see what this project is that you're birthing, and a little bit more of an idea of your gifts as well. But okay, so if you're enjoying this video, hit the like button. It really helps my channel to grow, and comment below. I always love. That was a terrible shuffle. Apparently I can't shuffle and talk at the same time. Love hearing from you guys. My goodness. That was a total fail. Let's try that again. Yep. I love hearing from you guys. So yeah, feel free to comment if you feel comfortable sharing. I would love to hear from you. I always comment back when I can. Okay, so guides of the highest love and light of pile number 1 and Goddess Isis, can we get some guidance on what this creation, what these creations are that pile 1 is being called to birth? Whoa, okay, the sun. Yeah, the sun is, this is not a terribly good reflection of it in this card, because it's just got a bottle with a flower in the middle. But on the traditional Rider-Waite, it's got a picture of a little child riding on, I think it's a horse, coming into town, or in a garden rather. And it's to do with that sort of connecting with that inner child, and that like going back to that part of childhood before you were conditioned and before you went through any wounding and all that kind of thing, and that reconnecting with that like inner optimist, that inner sense of like pure innocence and pure joy and pure optimism. I guess what I am getting from this card with all the orangey colors is orange is linked with the sacral chakra, which is all about creativity and like passions. So that I feel like there is some kind of and I'll try and get a bit more detail on it, but I guess maybe because it's a general reading it'll be different for all of you. But if there is something you've been called to creatively pursue, do it, basically, is what I'm hearing. With the 5 of coins here, actually I feel like that kind of should come first. I feel like you're moving away from this towards this sun energy. You're moving away from a period of, what I'm hearing is like not seeing the truth of who you really are. Like I'm just sort of getting all this cloudiness, and like the Five of Pentacles just talks about scarcity and feeling left out in the cold. And I think I spoke about that with, I think it was this orphan card. I was speaking about feeling like the black sheep or feeling left out or abandoned. So yeah, I feel like this is kind of confirming that message of you're shifting from this Five of Coins state, this like kind of murky state of like having your connection to your true self kind of be very clouded, and feeling a sense of like scarcity within, especially because this card is green, but it's like a murky, there's kind of like murky colors over the green. So this could be very much calling for heart chakra healing for some of you. I feel like some of you have kind of been working through all of this anyway, and you're probably doing this kind of thing. But if this kind of comes as like, oh yeah, okay, if that resonates, if that message resonates, that's for you to kind of maybe do some heart chakra healing to connect with that like unconditional love for your inner self and for your child self is kind of what I'm getting, and your like inner creativity and what wants to come out. Because maybe that just wasn't with that kind of scarcity energy. I'm kind of just getting that vibe of, yeah, that orphan vibe again of like you were just left out in the cold. No one really supported you. No one supported your creative ideas or your dreams or who you really were. There was just no sort of emotional nurturance or sustenance. There was no like guidance in that sense. You were kind of just left out. It was just like, maybe you came from a family that were, you know, your parents were overwhelmed with a lot of responsibilities. You might have had a lot of siblings or something like that. Whatever the reason may be, it's just that energy of like not having had the time or space or energy or support to do any of your creations. But I feel like you're now coming into this sun energy of like blooming and blossoming. There's just all these flowers on here. And just a lot of orange energy. It's very like zesty energy. So you're kind of tapping back into what you're passionate about, what gives you that like zest for life. Kind of getting with the bottle. It's like, yeah, it's kind of bringing to mind that the Untamed card. Do it your way, embrace your uniqueness, Untamed. It's like unbottling that bottle, untaming yourself, like letting out your, like flying your freak flag, letting yourself out of that bottle, not keeping everything kind of held inside, letting your inner child be its own unique self kind of thing. That's what I'm getting from that. So can we have some more guidance on pile one's can we get some more guidance on pile one's unique gifts and talents? Whoa, that came flying out. The Emperor. Whoa. That is powerful. Lapis lazuli. Yeah, I'm just getting a strong throat chakra vibe, and like this line is just roaring. So something around like kind of, yeah, speaking your truth, because throat chakra is all about speaking your truth, expressing your true self, being able to express your creative expressions or put them out there, you know, speak up for yourself, stand up for yourself. So, and also coming into like with that crown, coming into self-sovereignty as well. So this could be something that is waking up in you, this kind of fierce desire to create and to speak out. Maybe for some of you as well, this could be like, as I spoke about with your oracle cards, I picked up a vibe of someone like, you know, going to foreign countries and helping support children. And I'm now hearing specifically children who have gone through like horrific things like sex trafficking and things like that. So some of you might end up doing work with like, yeah, the like orphans or children who've been ripped away from family, or children who've been left in poverty or things like that. And you're going to be that like fierce lioness. Like I'm just getting goddess Durga energy through really strongly. So some of you might know about her. I'd highly recommend you look her up. She's a really powerful protector, goddess, and she's a wonderful goddess to draw on if you're wanting to kind of go into any kind of activist work like that, or any kind of like because she is a mother goddess, so she is very much that goddess who can help you kind of do that type of work in the world, and use that like maternal energy, or that that kind of endless sort of mothering, compassionate, like deep and fierce compassion for, you know, the spiritual orphans, or for the orphans of the world. I feel like you're going to be using your voice, either using your voice or using your protective energy in some way to support those children. For others of you, this might be more like starting a business around your creative expressions, or selling, you know, getting to a point where you can, you know, you run a little empire. Like this could be like a little, you know, it could be an Etsy business. It could be, you know, you run some sort of workshops or classes or something where you help people tap into their inner children through artwork or something like that, being like a creative therapist or a play therapist or things like that. I know I've got quite a few people in the community who do various aspects related to inner child type work, or you're feeling called to do that. So it could be just saying like you're gonna you know, that is your work in this world, and that is something that you are going to feel called to step into more powerfully and do in a you know, like actually formalize it, or get, you know, if there's any certification you need to do that, or if you need to just register that as a business or whatever it might be. It's like you're kind of leveling up in that sense. Wow, really powerful energy. We have some more guidance on the unique spiritual talents. Whoa, okay, nearly went in the candle. 6 of Wands. Yes, you are going to be very successful and receive a lot of recognition for this work, I feel like. And we've got the Tower. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like your energy in terms of like the type of work you end up doing, and especially if you're someone who's going to speak out against, like, say, you know, violence against children or something, or sex trafficking children, or, you know, any kind of issues that are related to children, or against any kind of insidious systems or anything that like, you know, even like some of you might be speaking out against, you know, aspects of like the education system or something like that, or against certain structures of, you know, the way people parent, or certain traditional structures around, you know, especially if you grew up in an environment that was very religious, is what I'm getting. Or something along those lines. It's like you're going to be someone who potentially, and this might not be until later in your life, this might not be something you're doing now. Some of you may well be just starting to get into it or feeling called towards this, but I feel like this is quite a journey. This is sort of a life's work journey here towards like getting to a point where the impact that you have in your particular field, whatever that is, so anything from, say, child psychologist, child psychotherapist, something like that, you know, starting a school for you know, orphan children or something in another country, you know, doing activist work against children who are being sex trafficked, whatever field it is, and it'll be different for all of you. It's like there's something around the work that you're doing that's very unique. And we had that with that Wild Rose card about doing it your way, embracing your uniqueness. So there's something about your work that's very unique, very, it's going to be highly recognized. And it's going to be something that's going to essentially like erode traditional systems in whatever the field is that you're in. Like it will show this other way of being, and it will highlight iniquity, is what I'm hearing. Is that the word? Or inequality, maybe, in certain systems, so that like maybe even certain laws might change because of the work that you do or something like that. Wow, very, very powerful energy. Maybe you're going to like sort of petition governments to make changes around certain things, or there's just something around this fierce energy and this energy of like standing up for, or like using your voice, or standing up for like sort of oppression or something like that. I'm kind of getting from that particular Emperor card. Yeah, let's see. Can we get some more guidance on pile 1? Get some more guidance on pile 1's gifts. That one, oh my goodness, it's falling on the floor. Hold on. What? Wow, the Hierophant. What was I just talking about? Tradition and systems of power. That is the Hierophant. Yes. And what was I saying about at the beginning about how you are like this maternal, feminine, caring, heart-centered energy, and we've got this book with a brain on one side and the heart on the other. This is you. You're part of something that's gonna like rebalance energy out in some way. Like you're gonna bring this like feminine perspective, or this like mother energy, this sort of mother hen energy, into some sort of field or organization or the world and help like rebalance out from a reliance on sort of traditional structures and more masculine ways of doing things, and overvaluing kind of the logical and the rational and all that kind of stuff, and rebalancing the scales so that there's more heart. There's a heart-centeredness. Some of you may be writing books, so that could be, you know, when I picked up some of you doing, I think it was with the Gaia card, birthing some sort of creative project. That could be a book. For some of you, you may be called to write a book about this kind of thing, or about, changes that you want to see in some sort of system, whether it's in religion, whether it's in, child welfare, whether it's in schooling, whether it's in, the spiritual world, whatever it might be. There's something around sort of like, it's like you're shining light on that darkness. You're bringing it to light, and you're rebalancing the scales so that there's more heart. There's more like heart energy, more mother energy, more feminine energy in the world, more care energy. So you're going to bring, it's like, and I'm seeing with the key, it's like your key to bringing like rebalancing the scales and bringing this nurturing energy, this heart-centered energy, like back into the world. And I'm seeing soda light here, which actually I think I've got some soda light right down here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. I've got a soda light tower. So soda light could be, it's a sort of rich blue crystal, dark blue crystal. This could be very powerful to work with, to help you. In fact, it looks a bit, the color's a bit like the lion. To help you express your truth and find that fierce voice that can be that mothering energy for other people in whichever field or role or whatever it is that you're feeling called to do this in. It will help you be able to speak your truth, and it will help you be able to kind of stand up against these other systems, and help you kind of express that feminine truth, that Shekinah energy, that divine mother energy, like rebringing that heart-centered energy back into the world. Oh, that's so beautiful, pile 1. You guys are amazing. Please comment below if this resonated, because I would love to know who you are. You guys are incredible. I've lost your card. I'm just sorry. I'm looking for... What have I done with it? It's so hot. I'm like... Here it is. Let's finish off your reading now with reading the guidance. And it is long, so if you want to click off now and come back to this in another time, I understand. I think it's enough. Yes, it is in alphabetical order. Magic and ritual. Crafting sacred practice. Okay, so I'll read it. It's quite long, so I'll read all this out and then I will hold up the sacred practice and the incantation for you to do in your own time if it resonates, if you want to do that. So, effect in the external world can be created through inner practice. Magic and ritual can support your divine path now in the physical world, and you are encouraged to enhance your power with regular practice. The results that you experience will encourage you to continue with the practice as you grow in power, grace, love, ability, and wisdom, and apply your inner beauty to transform your outer world. Yeah, inner beauty. I spoke about inner beauty with that High Priestess card, I think. For us to grow empowered and potent on the path of ancient feminine power, we need to honor our knowing and being and cultivate sacred practice. Sacred practice becomes the habit of growing our spiritual power and consciousness. Like a garden needing regular care. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is exactly what I was talking about with this Gaia card, with the garden, nurturing the garden. This is you, just little garden nurturers. Like a garden needing regular care and watering to blossom and flourish, our inner garden of the soul, where our creativity, joy, spiritual gifts, and bliss bubble away, also needs regular attention. Coming to our practice takes strength and inner will. Even though it can feel amazing, we still have to wake up, set aside time, and discipline ourselves to show up for our inner growth. We will reap the benefits when we do, but we must allow ourselves to fall in love with our practice, to craft something that really speaks to us so that we want to do it. The desire and the discipline together help us engage with our practice regularly, and we can grow so fast it can be quite shocking. When an initiate shows particular promise, higher guidance will often encourage that they develop a regular practice to hone their spiritual and creative abilities and more fully manifest their divine potential. They will grow faster and stronger spiritually and be able to step into spiritual healing and leadership to greater effect. Yeah, leadership. Kind of got that vibe with this Emperor card. So yeah, you are one such soul, dear initiate, and you are being guided to prepare for this growth and authority now with your sacred practice. This oracle is guidance that you do have great power and wisdom within you, but you need to provide channels for it to flow and be active and empowered in your physical life. Sacred practice is such a channel. Without these channels, the ego is left to create on its own, which is not much fun at all. The ego believes in fear and separation, and no matter how much it may want to feel love, bliss, connection, joy, and fulfillment, it really cannot do it without your spiritual presence in life. Ritual and magic as a form of sacred practice are recommended for you as a way to bring more spiritual presence into your waking life, to heal and support the ego as you learn to create a life that feels better and brings you and others more fulfillment. Sacred practice with magic and ritual may involve any of the guided exercises in this oracle. Choose what feels good for you and experiment with what might be a regular pattern of practice for you. You are worth the effort. Remember, whatever effort you do put in will be repaid to you in wonderful benefits many, many times over. Once you experience these effects, and it might only take a day or a week or two for the effect to show itself, you will be more committed to continue. The effects are cumulative. As you continue to practice, the positive effects continue to grow. If you have recently started sacred practice, this oracle is confirmation that it is working well for you, and you should not give up if you are not seeing the results that you would hope for. They are coming to you fast. This oracle is also confirmation that if you are considering making an adjustment in your sacred practice, it might be time to do so, provided that you don't dismiss the gains that you've already made with your current practice, and you remember that sometimes small changes can have big effect. Ritual and magic practice with clear intent to be of service to the highest good and to manifest through unconditional love accelerates your power and growth, particularly when it is based on what your heart truly desires. It might be about connecting more with your body, about stilling your mind or expressing your voice or creativity. An example of a practice is outlined now, but it is simply an example. As long as your practice includes invocational prayer to divine forces of unconditional love, provides a structure through which divine energy can flow, and it feels natural and right for you, then it will work for you. Please note that if you pull, you don't need to know that about because it's about pulling another card. So, sacred practice for the Lady Isis. So, I'm going to hold this up to the camera, and for those of you that don't want to do it now, you can take a picture and do it in your own time. Hopefully you can read that okay and it's not too blurry. Okay, there we go, and that's the incantation. Oh yeah, and that's it, that finishes it there. So I'm gonna do this now for those of you that want to do it now. Okay, this will be, I won't be typically doing these types of invocations and rituals and so forth on my YouTube videos. These are the kind of things I normally include when I do these really in-depth readings on my Patreon, just to just to give you the heads up about that, but I wanted to give you an example, as I mentioned in the intro, for today's reading. So, sacred practice with the Lady Isis. If possible, have some music playing softly in the background and a candle ready. Rest quietly in a space where you will not be disturbed and close your eyes. Say aloud, I call upon Isis, who loves me unconditionally, and my own divine self now, in light, love, peace, and power. May blessings, protection, healing, and awakening abound. I dedicate my practice to divine love. So be it. Sit quietly as you listen to your music and light your candle. Say, with this candle alight, I open my practice in sacred space. You may like to sing or chant the incantation below, or any favorite prayer or poem in devotion to the goddess Isis as a way to move into your practice. And there's a prayer here. I am, I am, I am. I am the light divine. I am the love sublime. I am the peace beyond space and time. I am, I am, I am. When you are ready, close your eyes and become aware of your heart and your body, from the base of your spine down to your toes and up towards the crown of your head, until you are peacefully aware of what the inside of your body feels like with gentle awareness. Follow the breath and keep your awareness in your body. When you are ready, imagine a soft ball of pure light within your heart expanding with your breath until it fills your whole body and your energy field extending around your body. Now imagine sealing that light in a bubble of violet light and golden light in 2 layers, wide and strong, around your energy field. When you have done this, gently open your eyes and place your hands in prayer position with your forefingers touching your forehead, your head bowed slightly, and say, for divine light, love, and protection, I give thanks now. I am, I am, I am. And when you're ready, just extinguish your candle and you are done. And then the incantation that you can do is the same as the one there. So I'm going to leave your reading there, pile number 1. That was so super powerful. I hope that was supportive or helpful in some way to you, or clarified some things, or just confirmed some things that you already know. I feel like you have very powerful energy, pile number 1, very beautiful energy, and energy that is very much needed on the planet at this time. So I'm so grateful to have you here in this collective, and thank you so much for watching all the way through to the end. If you're still with me at this point, leave a comment below if it resonated. As I mentioned earlier, it would just make my day, and I would love to hear from you. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading. It helps tell me what content is resonating for you at the moment. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of the Els Temple community, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. All the best with your journey, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi there, pile number 2. If you chose the High Priestess, let's try that again. The High Priestess from the Wild Unknown Oracle, or this amazing black Nuite egg, this will be your reading. So right off the bat, pile number 2. Wow, the power that is coming from this pile is amazing. I'm almost like feel like I'm being kind of I feel in awe, to be honest. I feel like you have such a force of power around you, such a strong life force energy, such a fierce, powerful energy, with both this sort of tiger on this High Priestess card, and the kind of the power that's coming from this black Nuite. I'm just getting this really potent energy, this very strong energy. I feel like this is the pile that you guys are warriors, you're fighters. I feel like you've had to go through a lot in your life, whether that's in childhood, whether that's from relationships, whatever it might be. I feel like you've really been through it, and you've had to, and you may still be working through a lot of darkness, or kind of transmuting a lot of what I'm hearing is like intergenerational pain and trauma, and going through quite an intense process of like soul retrieval. Black Nuite crystal can actually help with the process of retrieving aspects of your soul that might have split off due to like any kind of traumas or any kind of pain, or anything that might have blocked those parts of our soul. it can help us to retrieve those lost aspects of our soul, retrieve those lost aspects of our psyche, and sort of like get our power back, like sort of concentrate our power back into ourselves. So it's sort of like I'm getting this energy of like a vortex, so that you're rebuilding your sort of internal power back up. And I feel like that's a journey that many of you have been on for quite some time. Some of you may be sort of at the newer stages of this, others of you may be more advanced, and it may be a case of you're starting to step into doing this work with others as well, where you're helping them do like shamanic journeying is what I'm hearing, or like, you know, that very much that sort of Isis process of like retrieving lost soul fragments, you know, helping to alchemize pain and trauma and things like that, and re-alchemize it into healing and energy and power that you can use in your life. So very, very potent energy, very, very powerful energy. So let's have a look at your oracle cards, and then we'll take a look at the tarot, and then I'm going to finish off with the card and also the invocation and ritual from the Isis oracle, so which is quite long and quite in depth. And I don't usually do this for all my readings on YouTube, but I felt like doing it today, and also giving you guys a bit of an example of the types of readings, the more in-depth readings and the more healing and activating readings that I do on Patreon. So I'll come back to that to finish off with. So okay, pile number 2. Let's move your crystal over here. We have got the bridge. Okay. Pixie helpers and green aventurine with not all wanderers are lost, clearing the way, luck and opportunity. And then we got 2 of these Celtic cards, the herbalist card, herbs, medicine and healing. And we also got fawn with beginnings, willingness and opportunities. Don't tell the other piles that you've got 2. And you also got 2 of the chakra goddess oracle, and none of the other piles did either. So you're just an extra special, extra powerful pile 2. But yeah, don't tell the other piles I said that. We got Buddha, which is linked with the crown chakra. I'll move this out of the way because we don't need that for now. So right to the crown chakra, and then we got inner instinct, which is related to the third eye chakra, which, let me just put them out and then I will rearrange them so they're all in shot. We've got the reunion, which is soul recognition, collaboration, partnership and friendship. We've got beautiful bandit, and I'll put under here. Actually, I feel like that goes with this. No wanderers are lost. Okay, and we got divine guidance with I am divinely guided. Okay, let me pause and get these so they're a bit more neatly laid out. Okay, I think that's all in shot now. So pile number 2. Let's start down here with this pixie helpers, not a wanderers are lost, clearing the way, like an opportunity. I feel like with this card plus the beautiful bandit, we've also got this like guide sort of out in the desert with the staff, like they're traveling. And the Buddha card also talks about kind of leaving one's home, leaving one's sort of place, one's nest, and like going out into the world and being like a seeker of spiritual enlightenment and a teacher ultimately of spiritual enlightenment. I feel like you are the type of person who, you might have traveled a lot in your life. You might be a big traveler. You might be the type of person who finds it very easy to connect with other cultures. Like with this bridge card here, it's like you're able to bridge that gap between, you know, yourself and other people from other religions, or people from other cultures, or people who speak other languages, or whatever it might be, or even people in different spiritual traditions. It's like you kind of have this like bird's eye view of a lot of different spiritual concepts, and you're able to see how all of these different things kind of tie together, and how we can, you know, kind of work together to see sort of commonalities and, you know, work in collaboration. As it says, I've just looked down and seen collaboration as I said that. With the reunion card, it's like you're able to bring people together, you're able to bring people into reunion. That may not be something you're doing now. I feel like for many of you, the strong vibe I'm getting that is that you're in this like phase of traveling, maybe of exploring, of seeking, of trying different things. I'm kind of getting an energy of someone doing like shamanic kind of stuff, like traveling to cultures where there's a strong shamanic tradition and then learning from like the medicine woman or something, or the medicine men of that culture, or doing that shamanic journeying work, as I spoke about when I was speaking about your high priestess card. And with the Numite, there's a strong energy with this pile of like feeling that there's something missing, you know, perhaps in your childhood, or you know, at some point in your life you felt like there were parts of you that were somehow missing, and so you've had to do that, you know, seek out the spiritual training or initiation or practices or traditions that would help support you to kind of journey and do that soul retrieval work, or journey towards like reconnecting those aspects of yourself that you felt like just weren't supported, or were maybe split off because of some sort of trauma or pain or something like that in your childhood. I feel like whatever kind of, with that herbalist card, there may be some of you for sure are doing some kind of plant medicine things, like kind of ayahuasca ceremonies, that type of thing, or you know, training in herbalism, or learning about herbalism or herbs or something along those lines, or some kind of medicine tradition. Or if you're not, you've been, part of your healing journey has been to receive and seek out the types of traditions, different traditions, and try them out, try out different types of holistic healing. So maybe, for example, some of you might have you know, growing up with a very Western medical system. Maybe you had certain health conditions and that system ended up, you know, perhaps not supporting you in the way that you hoped, or whatever it might be. It didn't end up giving you the healing you needed. Or maybe you went through traditional psychotherapy or something and that didn't give you the support you needed. And so you've gone off and you've done this sort of the wandering soul thing, or the seeker, or like the Buddha who left his, you know, confines of, you know, he had sort of everything in his palace, but he left and went seeking. And I feel like you're in that energy of seeking something else, of trying different things, of trying different aspects of healing from wherever you feel guided, with that divinely guided, wherever you're feeling. And with the instinct card as well, wherever you're feeling instinctively pulled, is like you're going there and you're trying it, and like nothing's holding you back. I just get this strong kind of warrior powerful energy from you. I feel like you're kind of very fearless. I mean, you might not think of yourself like this, but again, this is like your unique skills and talents, or your unique gifts and talents. And so this might be something that you do very naturally. Like, I'm kind of getting the energy of someone who might be, I'm hearing like Sagittarius or possibly Gemini, you know, with that sort of curiosity and the ability to communicate and the ability to kind of connect with other people and have that urge for sort of expression and connection and collaboration and all of that kind of thing. And Sagittarius with the travels. So you might have, you know, you don't have to be, that just could be confirmation for some of you, but you might have that energy in your chart really strongly. But it's just that vibe of going through this, like, you are not actually lost. And it might be that there may be people from, whether it's in your family unit or your hometown or whatever, who have judged your wandering or judged your seeking, or this period of going out in the world and trying different things, or trying different traditions, or being interested in different types of holistic healing or something like that, you know, because you haven't been able to get the type of healing, like what you're really seeking, that you know, real enlightenment and that soul like retrieval, like really feeling like all the pieces of you are back together. It's like you haven't been able to fully express that or explore that, you know, in your upbringing in some way. And so you have needed to go outside of the home. You have needed to go outside of the family unit or outside of your roots or something, and be this like kind of beautiful bandit, as this card talks about, which is like just kind of a bit of a rebel, a bit of a wanderer, a seeker, someone who just, you know, is wild and free and comfortable with their wildness, comfortable with their, you know, wanting to be out in the world and do their own thing, like, you know, go after what it is that they're passionate about, or learn what the things that they want to learn about, whatever it might be. And I feel like this with this beginnings and willingness and opportunities, and we've also got opportunity on here as well, this quality in you, this unique talent, in you. And again, I feel like some of you don't see this as a unique thing, but it really is a beautiful and unique quality that you can connect with other cultures, or connect and learn about other traditions in this beautiful way. I'm sort of getting very autodidact energy. So some of you may not be doing any of this in a formal way. You're just delving into it and you're learning it just of your own accord. And I feel like this is going to create opportunities for you somewhere down the line. And we'll get into a little bit more detail with the tarot. But for now, this is just to say that like that aspect of you, that seeker quality, that is going to lead to opportunities. Like even if you feel completely lost right now, you are not. Like this urge to go to other cultures, to explore different types of healing, to explore different types of spirituality, to explore different types of medicine, to do your own thing, to go where the winds are guiding you, kind of thing. Like you are meant to do that, because it's going to lead to a certain opportunity. Again, it'll be slightly different for all of you. For some of you, this could be you end up working with some kind of shamanic tradition and you are initiated into that, and then you end up working with that energy, energy medicine or shamanic plants or shamanic medicine in some way, being a shamanic healer, and helping other people with that process of like soul retrieval or soul recognition, as it says on this card, the reunion, soul recognition. I feel like there's a certain process that you're going to stumble upon somewhere in this seeking process that's going to click things into place for you, and suddenly all these different things, it's like everything's going to connect, and you're going to know what it is. It's like the opportunity will present itself for you then to be the guide, and whatever it is that you've been sort of initiated into, or whatever it is that you felt called to learn about, or whatever it might be. It's like you will become the enlightened one. Like with the Buddha, like, he didn't just stay in his comfortable palace just as this kind of rural person. He went out and looked at the suffering in the world and wanted to understand it. And so I feel like you have this strong connection with your crown chakra. You have a very open crown chakra, and you're very guided by the divine. You're not guided by society. You're not guided by conventions or any of that, or your conditioning or your family or roots. It's like you want to be that person that bridges that connection with the spirit realm or with spirituality. You're supposed to be on this journey where you may feel a bit lost, because you're supposed to awaken that instinctual part of you. You're supposed to learn to rely on that instinct, which is something that is often activated when you're traveling a lot, because you're out of your comfort zone, right? Like when you're in your comfort zone, you're doing a certain routine, or when you're in your home environment and things are comfortable, and you've learned how to assess the threats, right, in that environment. Whereas when you step outside of that and you go out into the world and you're meeting all these different people, and you're potentially up against all these different sort of threats and things that you might have to assess at every level. It's like you start to rely on a certain inner instinct, through traveling and things like that. So I'm kind of seeing someone who's working and honing their instincts in a certain way, and their instincts maybe with sort of healing modalities as well, maybe with plants, like learning how to work with plants in an instinctual way, not in a traditional way where you go to, maybe some of you are going to some kind of schooling, and maybe at the end of this process you certainly will get some sort of certification or something. But at the moment I feel like you're exploring your instinctive or your instinctual kind of your inner instinct, and where it's calling you, where it's pulling you, what it's asking you to delve into. Yeah, very, very beautiful energy. I'm kind of getting with the shamanic thing. I'm getting vibes of, I don't know if for those of you might have seen Cloud Atlas or read the book Cloud Atlas, David Mitchell book. In the film, the character played by Susan Sarandon, I can't remember the character's name, but she's this like shamanic priestess woman, and she's amazing. And she does all this, like, people bring, sick people or people who need support in some way, they have these issues, and they bring her they bring the people to Susan Sarandon's character, and she is like a medicine woman or a healer. She knows instinctively how to heal them. She just is that kind of person. I'm getting vibes of that from you. Maybe some of you are already doing this now. Maybe some of you feel called towards doing something like that, and you're exploring different facets at the moment, or you're trying different things. You might not be fully expressing that gift yet, but it might be something that's starting to, like, you're starting to remember it, you're starting to reawaken it, because I feel like it's kind of a part of your soul that's been fragmented off, possibly because of certain lifetimes where you may have been persecuted for using those gifts, or doing, like, especially if it was any kind of medicinal thing, like instinctive, intuitive plant healing or energy healing, or anything that was a bit, different or a bit spiritual. Like, if it didn't come under the sort of system of the day, then, you might have been persecuted. So there may be a part of your soul that you're working to retrieve and remember that, which I feel like is what this reunion card is talking about. It's like these two aspects of you. It's like we've got these two hands out and then this bridge. It's like you're being reconnected with this, like, higher self. You're being reconnected with your spiritual side. You're going through this reunion with, like, your soul recognition. You're waking up to recognizing yourself as a spiritual being, having a human experience. You're waking up to also, with the collaboration, partnership, and friendship, possibly, creating certain kinds of collaborations or things with people that you feel guided to learn from in some way. And I feel like this is going to be a very organic process, and you're going to know very instinctively who those people are that you're meant to work with. So it's all blossoming, it's all happening in its own time. But I feel like once you know, like I said, it's like it'll click into place. It's like once you're reunited with the right group or the right healing modality, or you've had a certain amount of enlightenment through trying all these different things, and suddenly you'll just be like, that's it, that's what I've got to share, or that's what I've got to do, or like, this is me, this is my soul. It's like you would just recognize yourself in doing it. And like I said, with the opportunities presenting itself twice, it's like there is going to be a new beginning for you. There is going to be an opportunity for you to be this divine guide for others if you're not already doing it, which I feel like maybe some of you already are, and you maybe don't realize that you're doing it. You maybe don't see, because this is a unique thing, and sometimes the thing that is most unique to us, like, we can't even see it. It's like you can't see your own nose on your face, it's like it's just such a part of you, such an instinctive part of you, such a natural part of you. You don't even kind of notice that. I feel called to read out the I didn't do this for the other piles, but for some reason I felt guided to read this card from the Love Your Inner Goddess deck. So the spiritual guidance from this card. So we've got, you are one tough sweetheart, a spiritual gangster, a beautiful bandit, stealing back from the unworthy that which rightfully belongs with you. You have certain spiritual rights that cannot be denied you. Your dignity, power, and grace, your sense of beauty and self-esteem, your chosen belief systems, your energy, and your right to take up space in this world rightfully belong to your soul. Your faith in your spiritual connection with the universe and your sense of your life purpose belong to your soul too. So do your joy, your laughter, and your enjoyment of life, your belief in your own purity of heart and the goodness of your own being. Your right to love yourself is owned by your soul too. Even when you make mistakes, the Great Mother loves and forgives you, knowing that you are doing your best and are her precious daughter. You have a spiritual right to be free from torment, cruelty, and mental anguish. You alone own the right to choose your thoughts and claim your freedom to make your own choices. You are fierce with wisdom. You know that another cannot ever successfully steal what truly belongs to you, and if they try, your sacred rage will rise up and you will not hesitate to stake the winning claim for what is rightfully yours. The beautiful bandit comes to you with a message. Anything that you feel has been taken from you unfairly shall be taken back by you. Yeah, that's that soul retrieval kind of energy I was getting. It's like you're taking something back. You're taking back parts of yourself that were kind of split off because of something from, whether it was childhood or past life or something like that. Like the right to be able to what did it say? Where was it? The right to take up space. Yeah. And like, believe in your chosen belief systems and, lead your life the way you wish to lead it. So the claim what is yours by spiritual right, justice will prevail. And the sacred ritual is stand upright and say aloud, I claim the entirety of my divine inheritance. All that is rightfully mine through divine justice and divine mercy is now returned to me. Through my own free will, so be it. Beautiful. Yeah, I see with the kind of butterfly wings on either side of her eyes, you're going through quite a transformation. Butterflies are symbolic of like death and rebirth or transformation. So I feel like you're going through quite a sort of spiritual transformation as part of this process. And you might be in a bit of a chrysalis zone at the moment, or in a chrysalis stage of this. And it may be that you actually go through various chrysalis stages over and over again and kind of keep rebirthing yourself as you go deeper and deeper into more sort of spiritual awareness. So yeah, a very beautiful, powerful energy, pile number 2. Let's take a look at the tarot. I'm going to clear this away. Just we'll leave that one there. And we'll get some tarot guidance on your spiritual, unique spiritual gifts and abilities. So while I'm shuffling very clumsily, my goodness, what was that? Sometimes when I shuffle with these nails, it gets a bit clumsy. I just wanted to say I would love it for you guys if you could like this video or comment below if it's resonating, only if it's resonating, of course, and hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. It just really helps my channel to grow. I really appreciate each and every one of you who's been doing that. Love, love, love hearing from you for those that have been called to leave comments. Really love hearing from those of you in the community what you're up to. You guys are all super powerful, and I'm always super in awe and honored to be reading for you. You have amazing energy. Okay, so can we get some more guidance on unique spiritual gifts and talents for pile 2? Wow. Oh, a lot came out. Okay, yeah. The Fool, absolutely. Being able to kind of step off that precipice, off that cliff, and go on that journey, the sort of the Fool's journey. That is such a, there's a perfect emblem, really, because like you're able to kind of just, like, a lot of people don't want to do that. You know, a lot of people want to just stay in the nest. They want to stay in their comfort zone. They don't want to seek. They don't want to go on that deeper journey through the major arcana of seeking spiritual understanding, which is completed with the World card. You know, they don't want to do that. So it takes a lot of courage to do that. It is that spiritual bandit kind of energy. And then we've got Ace of Swords. Beautiful. This is, yeah, with the snake skin with this number 8. I feel like this is symbolic of like death and rebirth. So yeah, you're very much going through like a death and rebirth process, and like coming to, like I said, you'll kind of reach this stage where you'll have this like clarity and this like moment of like, this is me, this is my soul, with that like number 8 being like the infinity sign. It's like you'll suddenly be able to really strongly connect with like your higher self and like live as your higher self and bring that wisdom down kind of onto the earth plane. It's like and also with the lightning, it's like very, very powerful. It's like you might be someone who, once you've released certain things that have been blocking you or holding you back, or retrieve certain aspects of your soul, you might be someone who then gets a lot of like spiritual downloads. This might be a way that you know, with that like Buddha energy, it's like you receive a lot of enlightenment through just like spontaneous downloads, spontaneous visions. Just like, you know, maybe you're someone who, you know, as part of your travel, you go somewhere, maybe you go off, like you sort of retreat into like going up a mountain or something like that, or you just you sort of clear out, like, because you've done that fool's journey of like, you know, stepping away from the nest kind of thing. It's like you've got that clear space to kind of find that clarity and get really clear on who you really are, and like feel that power again. As I was speaking about with the nomite crystal, it's like you are very powerful. It's like you'll feel your power kind of reactivating. Sorry, a card went on the floor before. Daughter of Pentacles. Beautiful. Yeah, so I see this, you know, rainbow energy coming in, and we had a rainbow bridge on your kind of a rainbow bridge on that bridge card, actually, if I can pick it up. Yeah, so another sort of rainbow energy, like, you know, the rainbows come after the rain. So after that kind of purging, after that releasing, after that emotional release and healing, it's like you'll have this beautiful rainbow. You'll have, you know, it's like possibly chakra healing could be called for, because the rainbow can sometimes be symbolic of healing your chakras. So maybe doing chakra healing, or like you might end up doing something that involves chakra healing in some way. And that might be something that you actually end up doing with the Daughter of Pentacles, and Pentacles being linked with like finances and work and what you do to make a living. This could be something that you do, you know, for work, or something that you charge for. Or just more generally helping people shift from, you know, the darkness into the light, helping people feel enlightened, helping people, you know, heal any blocks or any traumas or suppression in their chakras, and helping them, helping to, you know, sort of retrieve those soul fragments. Do we have any more guidance for pile 2? 9 of Pentacles. Yeah. With the feathers, this is again kind of, feather is one of the main, well, feathers are a symbol of spirit often, and it can be messages from, you know, the gods, but also it's often a tool used in shamanic healing. So I'm kind of again getting like shamanic vibes, or using some kind of shamanic tools or something. And again, this could be something you do for money, or something that you do in order to like build up financial security and stability for yourself, because we've got these like feathers, but they're kind of holding all this like treasure, all these pentacles within them. So I feel like it's like what I'm hearing is like your wealth is very protected, or like your spiritual mission or spiritual purpose is very protected, and what you're going to do to receive money, it's like it's very, that path is very protected, and I'm hearing like you can't miss it. If you've already done this step of stepping away from the nest and going on that journey, or even if you've just started, you know, sowing the seed of the idea of stepping away from the nest to go on that deeper journey, you know, that adventure to go and seek what it is that you're feeling called towards, it's like that will be something that ultimately will create quite a lot of abundance for you. You will get a lot of opportunities to work in that kind of area, I feel like. Any more guidance on, oops, Ace of Pentacles? Yeah, new beginning. This is, yeah, summer. So we had the, where was it? There was like the fawn card with the beginnings, willingness, and also willingness is linked with the Fool as well, having that willingness to kind of do that deep dive. And then ace is new beginnings, and we've got this tree with these new sprouts. So yeah, there is this new beginning coming in your work. There is going to be a new opportunity that's going to come through as a result of this exploring, and this having the willingness to kind of do that deeper dive, and that kind of seeking and following your instincts, following your intuitive guidance, trying different things, you know, connecting with different cultures, doing that deep dive work to like retrieve aspects of your soul through whatever practices, whether it's shamanic practices or soul journeying or other, you know, other practices from other cultures, whatever it might be. It's like you're going to have a brand new beginning in something. It's like you're going to replant yourself somewhere and kind of regrow. Like this tree is like cut down to its kind of stump. But then, you know, it's still alive and healthy because there's these little like sprouts of growth coming off it. So it's like you're going to create an opportunity for yourself where you can regrow something, or yeah, regrow somewhere else, like replant yourself somewhere else, I feel like. I feel like there was something else I was going to ask, and now I can't remember what it was. something to do with, it's when I was talking about one of the cards. No, I've gone blank. Okay. Let's see, what is supporting pile 2? What is supporting pile 2 to awaken these? Ooh, beautiful. Yeah, Son of Wands. This is equivalent to Page of Wands. So yeah, we've got snake energy again. So death and rebirth energy, very powerful. Also another powerful symbol in sort of shamanic work. Also, it's interesting, you've picked a quite shamanic-y style deck, or a deck that works with animals. So maybe, yeah, working with like animal totem medicine or animal medicine could be very like something you're very called towards, or something you already work with quite a lot. You might have a particular animal totem. It could be the snake, because I feel like you very much have that ability to like willingly go through that kind of death and rebirth process, the way a snake will shed its skin and it will shed that old identity, that old, like, you know, identity of how you've been conditioned from the sort of the nest. And like we've got the snake skin wrapped around the infinity here with this. So strong snake symbolism here, strong death and rebirth energy. And then also wands is related to, like, you know, your passion, your creativity, your zest for life. Often in certain decks it's shown, I think in the Everyday Witch, it shows like a guy with a knapsack and he's on a journey, like he's going traveling. So again, I feel like this is strong energy for you to go traveling if you're not already. I feel like many of you, if you're watching this, you're probably already traveling somewhere, or you like to travel a lot, or you feel called to, or if not literally travel in the world, then traveling in terms of your soul, like you know, sort of soul journeying, or doing like meditations where you travel to other realms or something like that. There's something around sort of exploring. So yeah, just I feel like the guidance is just kind of re-echoing everything I've been saying, which is to just keep going, keep going towards what you're called towards. You will get that epiphany moment, or you will get those downloads that you need. You will get that clarity, and that, you know, be able to get that understanding of like what is next and what the next step is. And you'll get those opportunities to like possibly use these gifts in some way that can create a stable new beginning for you, and create the sort of independence and stability and support and financial material abundance, if that's something you're looking for. I kind of feel like the vibe I'm getting from some of you at the moment is that that's not something you're particularly seeking. You're more interested in seeking spiritual awakening, or like healing and learning. But, you know, if you are kind of unsure about where this direction is going to go, like all this exploring and seeking and learning different things and trying different things, and it is going to, you are going to be able to eventually get to a point where you can start to take those steps, like with that Daughter of Pentacles. That's quite like you know, just in a energy where you're not quite in that Queen of Pentacles energy yet, but it's like you're taking those initial exploratory steps towards, like, you know, say formalizing it into something, formalizing it into a business, or formalizing it into an offering or something like that, where you can start charging people maybe, or start, you know, say if it's a type of service that maybe you would do this in a school or something like that, you know, or whatever it might be. It's like you're getting to a stage where you can start making money from this. So wow, beautiful energy, pile 2, very powerful. Okay, so I'm going to finish off with the, where did I put it? Here it is, sorry. We got soul retrieval, deep soul healing with the goddess. Yes, exactly. Soul retrieval is what I've been talking about. You're on this process of seeking so that you can re-find your soul. So yeah, I feel like it's interesting. I'm just noticing the hands, and we had the 2 hands here. Like this is like your higher self kind of being like, come back to me, like remember who I am. And you're reaching out, being like, I'm here, like I'm here on earth, give me the guidance. And it's kind of like and then the hands are kind of united here with this like ball of, yellow energy, which is linked with the solar plexus and shining your light. So I feel like you're bridging something. You're bridging that gap between yourself and your higher self, and bringing it together and retrieving aspects of your soul that have been split off, where you've not been able to have that connection with your higher self for some reason, because of some sort of fragmentation that happened, like I said, whether it was in childhood or in a past life. But there was something that blocked that, and you've been working to re-find it and rediscover it and bring it back together again. So let's read from the book for soul retrieval. This is quite long, so if I'm leaving you here, I'll love and leave you. Thank you so much for listening. But if you want to have the listen to the final guidance and have the where are we? Soul retrieval. And have the invocation and ritual. I will hold it up to the camera as well, so you can do it in your own time. So, deep soul healing with the goddess. Isis, healing goddess, now offers you spiritual restoration and deep soul healing through the art of soul retrieval, reclaiming pieces of you lost through trauma, old and new. Soon you will enjoy greater wellness, energy, and power, as well as the opening of gifts and soul abilities you did not know you had. Did you know that pieces of you can be trapped in the past, in traumatic experiences, and in relationships, even with those long since gone, because part of your power remains with another? This can happen because of permission subconsciously given for them to hold a piece of your spirit. Then the time comes for such permissions to be revoked and the pieces of self to be reclaimed and restored to the soul. Master healer and goddess of deep soul restoration, the Lady Isis, now guides you to make peace with the past and reclaim the lost pieces of your soul. The time has come for you to take yourself entirely into your own possession, to call back your soul from trauma in this lifetime and others, to give yourself back to yourself wholly and completely. In doing so, your life will flourish and fuse with greater energy into beautiful new expression. Isis calls the soul back into wholeness again. Her passion, determination, and unfailing love for her beloved Osiris restored him from a dismembered, distorted, and fractured self into a whole divine masculine being once more. The Oracle of Soul Retrieval guides you to forgive and reclaim your own power and emerge in totality now, even if the trapped energy is so unconscious that you do not even know that you are missing part of yourself. Searching for any inner places that feel incomplete or draining is a way to commence the process of soul retrieval. Forgiveness can be a good place to begin the work more consciously. This is hard spiritual work sometimes because we can want to be right or justified in what we feel or perceive, and we don't want to be harmed again by allowing inappropriate behavior. In the action of forgiveness, you are simply reclaiming your energy from the situation, person, or experience so that it is at your disposal instead of being trapped in their energy field. What is most likely to occur is that the person, place, or situation will simply fall away from your life and be released. You will not be opening yourself up to attack. You will be wiser and stronger for your forgiveness and the ability that forgiveness gives you to reclaim your spirit. You will have more energy, and with no further effort, you will actually move on, not just in mind and body, but in spirit. This oracle also indicates you have healing ability, that you are capable of channeling soul energy to help others forgive and reclaim their spirit too. The more you base your work in unconditional love, which is the true nature of the soul, the more powerful your work will become for yourself and for others in service. Your healing gift is quite deep, and if you are interested in working in a healing capacity with others or wondering if this is the right calling for you, then this card serves as confirmation for you. The Oracle of Soul Retrieval also brings a special message for healers. Sometimes in your deep work with others, your desire to be of service can drain you if you are not carefully cleansing your energy field. And then it's just talking about a different card, so I won't read that. But so you will notice the thoughts and feelings of others becoming less intrusive. This is unconditionally loving. Your clients will gain more strength in learning to feed their own energy field rather than feeding off yours, and you will gain more strength in this process too. It can be hard work to change patterns of professional and energetic dependency, but it is worth the effort so that you do not become drained and unable to continue your path as a healer. This guidance applies equally to those that are not formal healers, but tend to attract those seeking guidance. Oh my goodness, yes, that is exactly what I was speaking about with your power, that you just, and very naturally with that divine guidance, you're naturally a guide, so you might just attract people to you like that anyway. You have that Buddha energy, so people will come to you wanting enlightenment anyway. It's a very just like part of who you are. So yeah, this guidance applies to those that are not formal healers, but tend to attract those seeking guidance and support informally into their lives. And then we've got the soul retrieval healing with Lady Isis. So I'll hold it up to the camera so you can take a picture if you want to do this in your own time. It's page 1, and then I think it goes over the page. Yes. And that's page 2. Okay, so let's do the process. Okay, so create a sacred, peaceful space where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes and allow for relaxation, and focus your awareness within your heart. Imagine that you can travel within, going deeper and deeper into your heart until you notice that within your heart there is a vast open space, and within that space is a golden grid of light. Say, I call upon the master healers that love me unconditionally, including Isis that loves me unconditionally, to help me restore my soul now, to call my power back and experience greater wholeness. So be it. Become aware of a magnificent golden winged goddess shining love and peace upon you within your own heart now. Allow her to guide you deep into the golden grid of light. You notice that the grid is vibrant, alive, and filled with love. Occasionally you notice that a line of the grid is torn or broken or distorted out of alignment with the rest of the grid. Some lines of the grid seem to be pulled out completely, leaking golden energy rather than feeding it back and circulating the light through the grid system. Golden Winged Isis is with you now, and she sings with a beautiful voice of sound and light, sending tones of healing into the grid, causing the tears to heal, the pieces missing to be restored, and the threads out of alignment to come back into perfect harmony, reattaching the grid of golden light until it is perfect, alive, throbbing with life force and love. It feels whole, strong, and right for the grid to be this way. Stay in your heart with thanks for this healing, feeling peace and love within you as you say, I now forgive any and all unfinished business which would prevent me from being in perfect soul alignment and experiencing great joy, love, and power within. Through my own free will, with the healing grace of Lady Isis, so be it. When you are ready, just open your eyes. Oh, that is so beautiful. Wow. Okay, my lovely pile number 2 is, I feel like that is all the messages I have for you today. Very, very powerful energy. I hope that resonated for you. All the best with going through your journey to uncovering and using and stepping into owning your unique spiritual gifts and talents. And leave a comment below if it resonated. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading. Helps tell me what content is resonating for you guys. Hit the subscribe button if you're not part of the Els Temple community. I would love to have you here. And I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye. Hi, beautiful souls of pile number 3. If you chose this Kunzite Tower or the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, this will be your reading on your unique gifts and talents, spiritual gifts and talents, I should say. Okay, so pile number 3, straight off the bat from this card, the energy that I get from you is this very beautiful, very feminine, very highly intuitive energy. I feel like with this, these sort of antlers here connected to kind of, she's also got these like points above her third eye on her forehead. So I feel like you have this sort of super receptive, kind of like as if you have almost like spiritual invisible antlers on your head where you're just always able to absorb information. It's like you can connect with beyond the veil very, very easily. You can easily divinate and receive intuitive information from the divine. I feel like you have a very open crown chakra and third eye chakra. And I feel like you have this because you've gone through something in your childhood. You've had to sort of, or like possibly at some point later on in life, you've had to transmute some kind of darkness. And as a result of that, or as a result of undergoing some kind of, facing some kind of darkness, maybe when you were younger, or feeling very like able to discern energies or entities, or like pick up on things that are negative, or like it's kind of like empath energy is what I'm getting. It's like you empathically absorbed a lot from your environment and a lot from people around you, and you had to learn from a very young age how to transmute that energy. Because with this High Priestess card, we've got both a black flower and like the white flower, and we've also got the pomegranate, which is symbolic of the Persephone story, the Persephone myth, which funnily enough, I actually just recorded a reading a Persephone reading for my Sage tier on my Patreon. So for those of you that feel really called to the Persephone myth, and we'll get into that in a little bit more detail in a moment, because it links with this crystal as well. But if you're feeling called to delve a little bit deeper into that, there's some really beautiful wisdom that came through with Goddess Persephone in that particular reading. Which I'll leave the link to below in case you're interested to check that out. But basically it is that story with Goddess Persephone of like doing that deeper work of going into the underworld, going through that process of like essentially finding our own sovereignty, and having to do that often from quite a young age, because like your innocence has been kind of stolen or disrupted in some way, or you've had to face up to some sort of darkness from quite a young age. So I'm kind of getting the vibe of someone who maybe possibly went through like loss of a very significant person when you were very young. So you might have had to face the concept of death from a very young age. Or maybe you could connect with like an ancestor spirit, like a grandparent spirit. And so I get this vibe of like, quite a young, perhaps almost like precocious child who's like able to speak to disincarnates, or like able to speak with, angels, or, the spirit realm, and see beyond the veil, or maybe pick up visions, ahead of time, or kind of see what was going to happen before it happened, or that kind of energy. I feel like you've always been very empathic. You've always been able to sense energy. You've always been highly intuitive. You've always been able to kind of like, you've had this like super perceptive, like these horns, kind of these invisible antlers rather, above your head, where you could just pick up the energy that was around you. And like I said, it's because you maybe had to face some sort of darkness that you were able to that you had to then transmute. And so this is sort of like a gift that possibly got awakened in you from quite a young age. Or maybe for some of you, you had it for a period of time when you were young, and then it was suppressed because it was deemed as, unwelcome, or, the adults around you found it very frightening that you were speaking to other spirits or something like that, or being able to like just channel your grandmother or whatever it might be. And so they kind of put a block on that. And then very quickly you learned that that wasn't appropriate, or it wasn't, welcome, or something like that. So you may have blocked this gift for a period of time, and it might be something that's kind of coming back to you now, or reawakening in you now. So let's get into your other oracle cards. So we got, move that over there, the underworld. So funnily enough, just been speaking about that with Goddess Persephone. We've got crystal grid with focus and create with intent. We've got celestial card number 17 with cosmos, creation, and spiral. Okay, we've got release, this is from the Chakra Goddess Oracle, and it's linked with the heart chakra here with the green. Okay, we've got 2 Rose Oracle cards for you. Don't tell the other piles, you're the only pile that got 2. So we got the bloom with creations realized, right time, harvest, and celebrate. And let's move this out of the way because we'll come back to your tarot a bit later. Okay. And we also got the Rose of Venus, alignment, flow, right relationship, and harmony. We've got free spirit. We've got surrender, card number 35, with I surrender to the flow of the universe. And then finally for your Isis Oracle card, we got High Priestess, mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. And I will be reading the guidance from the Alana Fairchild Isis Oracle book at the end, and also doing an invocation and sacred ritual if you would like to do that as well. I'll come back to that one. Okay, so I'm just going to start off actually by reading from, I got an excerpt. In fact, I got this when I was doing the preparation for the Persephone reading, but I'm going to read it out here as well because I feel like it's relevant to your part, because I feel like that myth or that story of that goddess reclaiming her sovereignty by going into, by being captured by Hades and going into the underworld, and having to face her demons and face that shadow work and do that deeper work, but then she becomes queen of the underworld. So this crystal is kunzite, and it's linked with that story with the Persephone myth. So I'm just going to read out, this is from a Stones of the Goddess book. So I'm going to read out an excerpt about kunzite. So the discovery of kunzite seemingly presages the discovery of Pluto, and it has often been assigned to this planet by astrologers and crystal healers alike. Pluto is named after the god of the underworld, who took Persephone as his bride. This mythic cycle not only describes the passage of the seasons, it also represents the growth and maturation process that occurs when we dig deep into our shadow side. Kunzite helps us plumb the depths of our psyche to find hidden opportunities for forgiveness and love. It is the gemstone that prepares the heart center, and we got heart chakra card for you, that prepares the heart center for the spiritual journey that comes with the descent of the goddess Persephone, also known as Core, into the underworld. By engaging in this work of unconditional love, we can claim our sovereignty, just as Persephone is crowned as Hades' queen, or as queen of the underworld. So yeah, I feel like with the kunzite coming through and the release card here linked with the heart chakra and the underworld card, I feel like for you, pile number 3, part of both your spiritual gifts and talents, but also part of your own healing process. I feel like those two things are intertwined, because I feel like you have maybe got some pain or trauma or certain circumstances or certain conditions that were perhaps quite oppressive or something like that in childhood. Like I said, if you had certain gifts that you were trying to express and use very naturally when you were a kid, and then you were told that that wasn't appropriate, or, you know, certain things might have happened to you, whatever it might be. I'm kind of getting different situations, which I don't want to go into too much in this reading, because it's not really about healing trauma at this point. I feel like this is a process. You already know what that is. I feel like you've already done that shadow work. Maybe some of you are doing shadow work. You've done some shadow work. You've been drawn to doing shadow work, or you've done work with like a psychotherapist or something like that to uncover some of these traumas or to deal with certain traumas. I'm hearing like regression work. So maybe like doing like doing regression work where you're retrieving memories that might have been blocked from some kind of traumas that might be like sort of holding energy in your body. So I definitely feel like you've been facing those wounds, and you've been doing that work to kind of heal your heart chakra and release any of that pain, any of that trauma, anything related to anything that's sort of blocking you from being able to be in a state of love, essentially. I feel like with this Rose of Venus card, with alignment, flow, right relationship, and harmony, one thing that for some of you might happen is through some sort of a love relationship or a soulmate relationship, or some kind of relationship that comes into your life that really activates your heart chakra and like holds a mirror up to you. That particular connection, or that it could be a twin flame type relationship, doesn't have to be. It might just be a soulmate or someone who comes in and kind of like activates that yearning for some kind of love connection. That may activate you or trigger you to do that work of going into the underworld, because it might bring up a lot of blocks in your heart chakra that need to be released, that are blocking you from being in alignment and the free spirit that you are meant to be, and also able to like bloom and blossom the way like you are meant to blossom in this lifetime. Your spiritual gifts are meant to blossom. You have things that you are meant to create in this life. I feel like these gifts that you have, this sort of beautiful kind of priestess energy of being able to be very empathic and like connect with the higher realms and sort of pick up information from other people, or possibly be some kind of medium or channeler, or just even be some like a person who's able to be, connected with the muse. Like maybe some of you are very creative. I am getting quite a strong creative energy here with celestial card. We've got creation here. and we've got with the bloom as well, creations realized. So maybe for some of you, it's less about like channeling spiritual wisdom in terms of being like a guide or doing some kind of divination or something like that, or being like a medium for people, or being able to transmit messages. And it's more that you connect with the energy of your muse, or you receive very creative ideas, very creative downloads that you're meant to kind of like bring down and then bring into the physical realm and create. And you are meant to do that, and those creations are meant to be realized. But I feel like with right time and harvest, it's like there's a process here where like the only, like what I'm hearing is the only way out is through. The only way to get to this stage of being able to harvest abundance and like celebrate all your creations and actually put them out in the world, whatever they might be, whether it's, being some kind of priestess or channel or medium, or, using your spiritual gifts in some way, or whether it's like channeling information or guidance or artistic and artistic impulse, and then expressing that through some sort of creativity. Whatever it is that you're feeling pulled towards, the only way to get to that stage where you're able to put things out in the world is through the underworld. And I feel like you know this, and I feel like most of you are doing this already, and some of you might be at the earliest stages of doing this healing work, where you might be just starting to realize that you have a lot of blocks for whatever reason to releasing. Because with that release card, I'm sort of just seeing this, this dancer, she's just like free spirit, and her arms are out, and she's just like woo, like she goes with the flow. She's just like moved by the muse or moved by the goddess, or she's just able to release her energy out. She's able to release her creativity out in the world. She's able to express herself very freely. And so I feel like as you start to feel that there are things that you want to create, you'll also start to notice that maybe there are certain blocks that are inhibiting you or blocking that expression of this free spirit that you have. And that the only way to release these things is to go do that like underworld work, or do that descent work of the goddess. It is very much the divine feminine awakening path. It is a very labyrinth and very cyclical process that is a descent process. It's a process that goes through the underworld. It's not about asceticism. It's not about getting out of the body. It's not about kind of renouncing all things and kind of, going off and sitting on a mountain for 7 years or anything. It's like, it's an underworld process. It's a descent. It's a going down into the body and feeling those feelings and processing those feelings and connecting with those parts of ourselves that were repressed or were blocked or were deemed unworthy, or just that traditional sort of, or not traditional necessarily, but just shadow work, essentially, like going back and looking at the shadow and seeing the parts of ourselves that, weren't honored, is what I'm hearing, or weren't able to be released in any kind of way. So this may be something that, like I said, for some of you, if you may have had this process activated by another person because you've met someone and that's activated your heart chakra. And as a result of that, it's like forced you into this kind of underworld process, this shadow work process. For others of you, this might be something that very bravely you're just doing of your own accord, or you've been going through more deepening the cycles and the stages of doing that shadow work or that healing work, or just noticing certain things coming up, noticing certain blocks, seeing that you have maybe a lot of you, I feel like what your gifts are, but you're maybe working through getting to a point of being able to put your creations out in the world in some way, or be able to like come out into the world and like really own your kind of priestess gifts, or own this like ability to be able to like channel information. But I do see with this, she's holding this crescent moon here, which I'm getting there's this new beginning coming. There's this new possibility for you to be able to be in flow and be in harmony, be in a surrendered process where you can just receive all the guidance that you're meant to, and then just be like in this beautiful creation process or co-creation process with the universe, where you're receiving that intuition, you're receiving that inspiration, and then you're translating it through you and then putting it out. You're creating it in the world and blossoming. But like I said, there's a right time for this. There's a sort of divine timing element of this whole process. And some of you will be at different stages of that. For some of you, you're already in the stage now where you're just starting to bloom. You're just starting to tap into these gifts because you've kind of done that underworld work. With this crystal grid and create with intent, I feel like crystal healing or doing crystal grids could be very helpful to you. This could be something that is both very healing to you, but also could be something that you end up doing in some way to work with other people for their own healing. If that's something that you end up working with people on perhaps a one-to-one basis, or offering some kind of energy healing or something like that. But again, I feel like this could be very healing in terms of this creations realized, because it's got like create with intent. So once you've kind of gone through this underworld process, you're going to get to a point where you're going to be a lot clearer to be able to like know what your direction is, and put those necessary pieces into place to like really focus and create what you're meant to create, and release what you're meant to like release in the world, whatever creations or whatever healing you're meant to put out. You're going to be able to do that. And I feel like you really at your heart, you are this free spirit. Like you're not meant to be inhibited by any of the like cultural conditioning or childhood conditioning that you had. Your gifts of like intuition and very awakened third eye, very open third eye, ability to perceive things, ability to perceive people in a certain way, ability to pick up information and energy in a certain way. It's like you need to be able to be a free spirit in your life at some point or in some way, so that you can work with those energies and use them in some way, focus them in some way. Because I feel like maybe if up until now you haven't been able to fully step into those or embrace those or use them, that kind of energy turned in and of itself can become very dark, and it can become very self-destructive. It can become very consuming kind of thing. So it's important that like once you've kind of done that shadow work and done that releasing and healing your heart chakra and letting go of any sort of any kind of blocks or things that are stopping you from creating and starting to feel more in flow, that you get to a stage where you don't hold on to that energy too much yourself, or you don't hold on to the sort of information or the inspirations or creations that are coming through you. It's important to be able to like release things out into the world, to like let them go. Like you can see these, like her hands are out and she's got these like sparkles coming from her hands. So I'm also getting from this, some of you might have very healing hands. I did pick up kind of a healer vibe as well from some of you. So if you don't resonate with the side of things in terms of being able to channel information or being very perceptive or intuitive or like being able to divinate and things like that, it might be that you're more of a hands-on healer. So it might be like, doing things like energy healing, creating crystal grids, doing Reiki, doing some kind of hands-on healing, but doing something where you're kind of like, you're the channel for something. Like you have this ability to bring energy down from the divine and earth it down into like the earth, into the world, into like either into other people or into the earth or something like that. So yeah, I feel like, is there anything else you want me to say? Goddess Isis, have I missed anything? Yeah, I'm just coming back, I'm being drawn back to the spiral thing. It's coming back to that very it's like the divine feminine awakening journey, which is the spiral. The goddess and the divine feminine is always symbolized by that kind of spiral energy, and the divine feminine awakening journey is not like a linear process. It's not a like step up a mountain. It's a kind of going deeper, spiraling deeper into like the essence of ourselves. So I feel like if you don't feel like you're there yet in terms of like why am I not able to just like be like everyone else and just bloom and blossom and just put stuff out in the world, it's because like this is a very deep process and a very very sort of spiraling labyrinth process. It's not something that is going to like happen overnight, but it will happen. You will get to a stage when you've kind of released enough of that like trauma energy or whatever, and you'll get to a point where whatever you've done to kind of transmute all of that or release all of that or face all of your own like demons and your shadows and your fears, you'll then be able to use all that wisdom that you've gained from all of that and like focus it into some sort of creation, whether that's possibly starting a business or working as a freelancer or something, using your spiritual gifts in some way, whether it's like creating something, maybe you're creating a new form of healing, maybe you're creating a whole new modality, maybe you're writing a book, or you're doing some sort of creative expression or a piece of artwork as well. But it's like really important that you're able to be this free spirit, and you're able to kind of express your spirit in this kind of really free and open way. I'm just being guided about something to do with this card, the Rose of Venus. Alignment, flow, right relationship, and harmony. Yeah, I feel like this might be saying that I'm kind of being drawn to the couple at the top of the rose. And also we're seeing a spiral here again. So we've got like lots of spiral energy. So yeah, there's a lot of like sort of uncovering kind of energy. But I feel like with that right relationship, the right relationships will come to you once you've, as a result of doing this like deeper work and this shadow work and healing your heart chakra and releasing any blocks to your heart chakra. So if for some of you, if you feel like you haven't met, you know, your person yet or something like that, not that this is a love reading, but for some reason this is coming through, this card came out and wanted to be included in the reading. And I feel like, you know, if we think of the Persephone myth as well, it is tied to the Hades story. So, you know, there is something around possibly a divine counterpart that is going to come in, that maybe when that right relationship comes in, that will be something that will help you to create the right sort of conditions to be able to focus and create and like realize these creations you want to create, and get to a point where you can actually harvest some abundance from what you're putting out, and get to a point where you can celebrate these creations. So yeah, there's something around like some kind of important soul counterpart, and some of you may have met them but you may not be in union yet, or some of you may not have met them yet, some of you may know who this is. But I feel like if you've met someone and it wasn't like a supportive person who, you know, would support you in growing and blossoming and blooming in the way that you are meant to, then it's not that person. There is a right relationship that's for you. Possibly the person that you were thinking of that triggered this underworld process is likely not the same right relationship that's going to be coming in once you are in harmony with your, like, you know, your higher self and your true spirit. Like, I feel like that will come in possibly a little bit later on, or some of you may have met them already, but there's a strong emphasis on like it being like a very harmonious union. So I don't feel like if you had a lot of conflict with someone or a lot of like trauma being triggered by someone, that it's necessarily that connection. But I do feel like that connection for many of you was a very important one, because it did activate and trigger you to have to face this underworld stuff, to have to face these traumas or these repressed fears or these like pains that are lodged in your heart chakra or something like that. It's like that relationship, that particular connection was like divinely guided, because it did need to activate that within you. And for some of you, it might be that comes into a certain state of harmony, and that is the person that you're able to move forward with and create this like right relationship, and then be able to realize your creations. And for others of you, it may be someone different. This can also speak of like balancing your yin and yang energies and being in a right relationship with your inner divine masculine and your inner divine feminine. So again, that's part of this underworld journey that you're going through, is like, you know, facing aspects of yourself that are the distorted feminine and facing aspects of yourself that are the distorted masculine, and healing those. And only by coming into balance within, and only by healing and balancing our own yin and yang energies, or our own inner masculine and inner feminine energies in a healthy way, and having them work healthily together within ourselves, can we attract the right relationship, the right counterpart on the outside that reflects that. So if you more identify, in feminine energy, it's finding that, that healthy, focused, divine masculine within that helps you to create that stability and support and focus, so that you can, take action on your creations. And once you're kind of in that energy and you've activated that within you, you will then magnetize that or create that on the outside, where your divine masculine will show up, and they will present themselves in your life the way you have been relating to that aspect of yourself from within. Right, so let's move on to your tarot. That's all the messages I have for the So while I'm shuffling these, thank you so much to those of you who have been liking my videos and commenting. I always love to hear from you. So if you feel comfortable commenting, if it's resonating, I really appreciate each and every one of you who's been liking the videos and subscribing. It helps my channel so much to grow. So I really appreciate each and every one of you doing that. Whoops, sorry, the camera's getting a bit knocked. Okay, so let's have a look at the, let's get a bit more detail on the unique spiritual gifts and talents for pile 3. Can you give us more? Warrior of Pentacles, beautiful. This is like the Knight of Pentacles. So yeah, I feel like grounding things into the earth plane, like it's kind of coming back to the High Priestess card, which I moved away. I shouldn't have done that. I should have left this out. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, you're meant to take like divine wisdom or guidance or inspiration or creative ideas and bring them down through you into the earth and actually ground things into the physical being. You're meant to take action. So again, it's that merging that feminine energy of receiving, being very receptive to the wisdom and the inspiration that's coming through, but then also essentially being very focused, like we said with that card, and also with the right relationship, having that relationship with your inner masculine. This is that Warrior of Pentacles energy. It's like the masculine energy that's able to take action on something, take action on your ideas. So possibly if that's something that's been a bit blocked in you, that could be an indication of where you need to do some shadow work or some shadow healing, going through that sort of underworld journey to like find what's blocking this action taking ability. Okay, pile 3, the unique gifts and talents for pile 3. Unique, whoa, that came flying up. Wow, the Monarch card 4. Yeah, so this is equivalent to the Emperor card in this Intuitive Night Goddess deck, but it's a very like feminine kind of energy. We've got all these monarch butterflies, which butterflies are symbolic of transformation. So I feel like you're definitely going through some kind of transformation, and your energy naturally is the type of energy that supports other people to go through that transformation from, you know, that caterpillar state that is stuck in inaction and can't really move very far, and is stuck and repressed in a sort of shell that is just all the childhood conditioning and all the traumas and all that kind of thing. And then you go through that chrysalis stage, where you go through the chrysalis stage is literally the underworld, going into the underworld, you know, getting in touch with those aspects of ourselves that have been hidden or repressed or deemed unworthy, and then shedding that caterpillar skin and rebirthing as the butterfly that you truly are. So yeah, definitely going through some kind of transformation, and definitely supporting others to go through this type of process is something that is one of your gifts. And I feel like you'll do this in a very beautiful, intuitive way. So as you go through your own journey, and this journey will look different for all of you, even though I'm explaining a sort of process, the actual specifics of it and the actual outcome in terms of what you each end up creating on the other side will be completely different for all of you. Like I said, some of you, this could be, you could end up doing something like this, like tarot divination, being a channel, being a medium. For others of you, this could be being like a life coach, or working with people to help them transform in some way, like even being like a helping people go through any kind of transformation, really, like anything from sort of like fashion and style, and helping people kind of transform their look, through to like really deep psychological transformation work. So it could be anything. It all sort of manifests in different ways for all of you, but I feel like you have this energy, this emperor energy, but in a very feminine way, where you are going to be able to, one of your skills is to be able to bring this wisdom, or bring this this type of work, this transformative healing, and like bring it into the world in a very successful way and in a very structured way. Like, it's interesting, I'm just seeing he's holding this monarch is holding, well, it's actually a woman. All the figures on this intuitive night goddess deck are all women. So she's holding an ankh, which is symbolic of Isis. So yeah, sort of like being sovereign, being in a leadership position, being able to rule essentially, or be a guide or be a leader in some way, but of like feminine wisdom. It's very like fierce energy with that tiger there. Like, it's very powerful energy. But yeah, I'm just getting with the crown on her head. It's just very like in standing in your sovereignty, which is coming back to exactly what I was saying with the crystal, with the kunzite crystal. It's all about doing that work to go through the underworld process, and like Persephone ends up becoming queen of the underworld. So that myth could be very powerful for you. I would strongly encourage you, Part 3, to check out that reading on my Patreon, because I feel like there could be some additional messages. I'm kind of picking up the energy of the people that I channeled the messages for in that reading. Some of you, I feel like, are here watching this one, so you might want to take a look at that, because there could be some additional support from that, the medicine that is from Persephone. But I feel like there's like this even though you've had to go through all these difficult things and through all this pain and trauma, it's like you're going to create so much out of it. It's like you're going to go through that process and transmute all that pain and turn it into something that you can then like guide people with or lead people with. It's like you are then going to become the queen of the underworld, because you've learned how to navigate it so powerfully and so skillfully and so brilliantly and thoroughly and bravely that like it totally transforms your life. And in doing so, you're then in this position of power. You're then the queen of the underworld. You're then the person that can guide other people through that process of doing that deeper work, doing that shadow work, maybe being some sort of priestess, some sort of healer. Like I said, maybe doing something like psychotherapy. Could be different for all of you. Maybe some of you, like I said, you might just use this to once you've gone through the underworld process and faced all of that, you might write a book about it or something like that, and then guide people through your creations. I'm definitely seeing something like someone who's gone through some sort of addictions. Maybe you grew up in a family who were under some sort of like substance addiction or alcohol addiction or something like that, and part of your underworld journey is to like face through all of that. Maybe you followed that path yourself, or even if you didn't, it's still just you've ended up accumulating a lot of trauma along the way from that environment, and from, you know, just your lineage, your ancestral lineage, and in your bloodline, having gone through, you know, something painful and difficult, like, you know, severe addictions and things. And, you know, you've had to go through that underworld journey of really like facing all of that and facing all those wounds and healing that addiction, or at least healing that lineage if you didn't face that yourself. So very deep work, very, very deep work. And then, you know, likewise, once you've healed it and you've shifted out of that space, you're then able to be a guide and be that person who can take, you're then the queen of the underworld. So you can then show people, you know, how to handle those aspects of ourselves, because so often all that type of thing, you know, all the underworld aspects, like, you know, death, despair, addictions, you know, traumas, illness, severe illness, all of that kind of stuff, it gets, you know, especially even in the spiritual community, but it's kind of whitewashed a lot of the time, because, you know, people don't necessarily want to face it. They want to stay on the surface where it's, you know, there's growth and there's light and all of that. And you can come to that point. You can certainly, it's not to say you've got to stay, you know, doom and gloom all the time or in the depths of the darkness all the time. No, like you can come out the other side and rejoin the light. But it's like, in order to get to the other side, it's like that whole thing I mentioned with the underworld card, that the only way out is through. It's like you to get the light, you've got to face the shadow. It's like what is that quote? Something like, there is no light without shadow. So you have to have gone through the shadow to really face the light. Like you can't, there's no spiritual bypassing here. And you're going to help people not do that. You're going to help people, you know, do that deeper work and actually get to the light by facing their shadow and reclaiming those parts of themselves and reclaiming those gifts. So very beautiful energy. I feel like that is, I'm hearing one more. Okay, let's get one more card. One more card for pile 3. Oh, we've got 2. Okay, Spirit of Wands, beautiful. Yeah, so I feel like along with sort of harnessing these sort of divine masculine elements, this Warrior of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles taking action, and the Monarch, you know, coming into your power, coming into your sovereignty, you know, really sort of setting up your work or something like that in that field. We've got Spirit of Wands, which this is the king equivalent to the King of Wands in this deck. But it's interesting, it's called Spirit. And I feel like there's this white energy. 1 second, my battery's just gone low. Whoops. Sorry about that, pile number 3. My phone battery died. So right at the end, right in your last couple of cards. So I think I'd started talking about the Spirit of Wands, but I'm going to go back to this 9 of Cups card first, and then I'm going to end on the Spirit of Wands and actually read some of the Intuitive Night Goddess message from the guidebook, because it's really amazing for this card. So with the 9 of Cups, I feel like this is just confirming that whatever it is that you wish for is going to be fulfilled. Like the lifestyle that you kind of want, the creations that you want to grow in your life, the creative ideas that you have are going to blossom. All of your cups are going to be fulfilled, whether it's like just every aspect of, you know, love, connection, emotional fulfillment, support, nurturance, feeling filled up from within, feeling contented with your life. All of that is going to come in for you. I feel like once you take action on this path, once you take action on really like claiming these gifts, is what I'm hearing, then this will bring a huge amount of like satisfaction and huge amount of fulfillment in your life, like very deep fulfillment. And like you can just see she's smiling. It's such a sweet smile. She looks so innocent, but she's just smiling away, like just beaming, so happy. So I feel like this work and this once you start taking action on it, and once you maybe you know, formalize it and create a structure for it, and you know, step into your sovereignty with it, you're going to find that personal fulfillment that you're looking for. With the Spirit of Wands, this is such a powerful energy. Like I mentioned, this is in case I end up, unless I end up cutting it out, but I think I mentioned just before the camera cut out that this is equivalent to the King of Wands, but in this deck it's known as Spirit of Wands. And I feel like it's that very interesting feminine masculine energy combination that you have, where you're going to harness both of those sides and kind of come into this like ultimate kind of Spirit of Wands energy, where you're kind of neither King of Wands or Queen of Wands. You kind of just combined the best of both, and you know, really like going after your spiritual fulfillment and your spiritual passions. I feel like going after the growing that spiritual, like whether it's a spiritual business or whatever it might be, it's like really stepping into that in a powerful way. Let me read the thing from the book, because I've been channeling for several hours now and I realize I'm not being terribly eloquent anymore. So Spirit of Wands, our final goddess in the suit of wands, stands before fire, leaping from the earth. She holds her staff in one hand and a shawl above her head adorned with flowers. Her gaze is white and glows like the stars that surround her, hinting that she has achieved cosmic connection. With this integration, she can see beyond the veil and is ready for the next phase of her journey. She is able to use her traveling cloak to open a portal to another world above her while she continues to build the world in front of her, stoking the fires there. She is confident because her vision allows her to create a path where none existed before. Yes, exactly. That is this free spirit energy that we had with this card. It's like you've got to be free to create your own path that is aligned with your spirit, aligned with your true spirit. So the lizard, a traditional spirit guide of fire, represents the ability to adapt to change and your surroundings while maintaining your true sense of self. The lion in the background represents a secure and confident guide who shepherds you towards the divine light, intention, and path. Jump into either of these energies while working to make manifest. The fire of creation also signals personal and spiritual growth. It continues to burn strongly around her heart space. Yes, exactly. That's linked with that, where was it? The release card that I spoke about with the heart chakra. So yeah, you're going to have, once you've released all that energy, it's going to free up all this like powerful creative energy for you to work with. So when you align passion with intuition, you can realize what your higher self desires. And the keywords are passion, spiritual realization, vision, imagination, and guidance. Yes, exactly. Beautiful energy. So that is your gift, to really use, like, combine your intuition with your passion and basically, yeah, doing that spiritual work in the world. So let's finish up with the High Priestess card, with the guidance from this card. So as I explained to the other piles, I don't normally do the full blown Alana Fairchild treatment with the whole message and also the invocation and ritual. I do that in my Patreon readings, but I felt like including it here today so you guys get an indication of that kind of healing that is available and the kind of activation that is available on my Patreon readings, and also because it's an Isis reading and I've got the specific Isis deck, I wanted to include it in today's one for you guys. So if you don't want to receive the additional guidance or the invocation or anything, you can, this will be the end of the reading, so that is the end of all the channel messages and the cards, but hopefully you will stick around, because I will just say that the work that I have done with some of the Alana Fairchild invocations is mega powerful and mega potent, and it really genuinely works. So, okay, High Priestess, mysteries revealed in the eyes of Isis. Beloved Isis gazes upon you now, and behind her vast eyes, mysteries are unveiled. A new clarity around your direction is unfolding. Be willing to wait for the full reveal, but also recognize what is happening at this time. You will be gaining valuable insight into where you are being led and for what purpose. It is an exciting moment in your unfoldment. Have reverence and an open heart and mind, and wait patiently for the grand revelation that is on its way. Currently, you are being offered assistance in unveiling your divine destiny. You will be shown your purpose in a broader and more meaningful way than ever before. You can expect to have many aha moments where your life experiences and journeys suddenly make sense from a much bigger perspective, helping you understand how everything that you've gone through has brought you to where you are today, which in turn helps you trust even more where you are being led. You are guided to trust in the reveal, whether it seems preposterously magnificent and you have no idea how it could possibly all happen, or whether it seems not nearly grand enough as yet. In time, with your patience and willingness to trust in the unfoldment of your life, you will realize the inherent beauty, perfection, and sublime loveliness of your life unfolding, and that your purpose and destiny are truly exquisite. You will feel even more joy and peace and trust within you. That's that Nine of Cups energy. Growing into the serenity of the High Priestess, who accepts all with a wisdom born of great insight and understanding. Rather than being passive, she is actively surrendered in absolute trust and higher wisdom. The High Priestess, Lady Isis, and your own divine soul are calling you to trust in the unfoldment of a mystery into revelation right now. Pay attention to sacred signs, dreams, and intuitions right now, as they are accurate and more prophetic than usual. Provided the guidance in these spiritual insights is guiding you deeper into love, which you will recognize as a feeling of deep trust, safety, and knowing, even in the most unfamiliar circumstances, then you can trust them completely. This oracle is also an indication that if something completely unfathomable, bizarre, or strange is happening right now, provided you feel love in your heart, trust it. It is the hand of the divine guiding you, and you just don't know enough of what is happening in the bigger picture yet to make sense of the situation, but you will in time and possibly much sooner than you realize. Okay, so here is the ritual of the High Priestess. I'll hold it up to the camera in case you want to do this in your own time. You can take a screenshot of that. And whoops, I'll hold up that with the incantation as well. Otherwise, I'm going to read it out now. So you will need one white candle, a tea light is fine, and matches. If you can find a pashmina scarf or shawl that you can use for this ritual, preferably in white or a color that you love, and that is so amazing because we were just speaking about the white dress and the cloak, the shawl above her head, and also the monarch is wearing a white dress, and the High Priestess card that you chose is wearing a white dress. So white is a significant color for you. And also is linked with the crown chakra, which makes sense because you have a very open crown chakra. So so get the shawl that's in a white color. So pause the video if you need to go and find something that's in a white color, or a color that you love. You can use it to lightly cover your head as a sacred robe and say, just like this, I honor the priestess within and the High Priestess Isis that loves me unconditionally. With this veil upon my head, I part the veil between the worlds and enter into the domain of her mystery. Light a single white candle and say, within white all colors are contained. In this candle all mysteries can be revealed. I ask to see that which has been concealed, which will serve me in unconditional love, gifted from Isis, grace as pure as the dove. Gaze at the candle, and if you are aware of the area that needs more clarity in your life, imagine or intend that you can project it into the flame of the candle, allowing the energy of it to be purified and refined. If you don't know exactly what part of your life needs a reveal, then simply gaze at the flame with an open mind. When you can close your eyes and still keep your focus on the flame, do so for a few moments. Then say, in dream, in thought direct, in awareness and in bodily sense, I now receive the mystery unveiled. I am not denied any detail. I receive this now with comprehension clear from Priestess Isis who holds me dear. Allow your mind to be empty. If you have a thought or impression, take note of it, but don't analyze or fight it. Just trust the reveal will happen as it is best for you, whether it comes clearly during your ritual as a knowing vision, gut instinct or feeling, or whether you receive a dream or an insight in the days or weeks following your ritual. When you are ready, just open your eyes. And the incantation is... it's the same thing. In dream and thought direct, in awareness and in bodily sense, I now receive the mystery unveiled. I am not denied any detail. I receive this now with comprehension clear from Priestess Isis who holds me dear. It's saying that you can say that incantation anytime you wish to be open to learning more of the mystery unfolding in your life. Beautiful energy. Wow, super powerful. Yeah, you guys are the definite priestess pile. You are the guides, the wisdom keepers, the ones who are meant to share your wisdom, share your spiritual truths, share your own path to ascension or your own path to your spiritual awakening, share the mysteries of the divine feminine. So yeah, beautiful and super powerful energy. I love this for you. So thank you so much for letting me read for you today, pile 3. I hope that resonated for you. Leave a comment below if it did. I would really love to hear how it resonated, if you feel comfortable sharing. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the reading. It helps tell me what content is resonating and it helps my channel to grow. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to be part of the Owls Temple community if you're not already, and the notification bell so you'll be notified when I next upload a reading. I'll leave the link below to the Persephone reading that I mentioned that's on my Patreon at the moment, for those of you that might want to go a little bit deeper with that myth and Persephone medicine and unblocking anything, because that particular reading will help actually go through some of that underworld aspect and activate anything that needs to come through even more powerfully. So if you're interested in that, check out the link below. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you in the next reading. All my love. Bye.